voice today. Happy Monday, everybody. Oh, wrong scene. Already fucked it up in the morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope you enjoyed your Easter weekend or whatever you did to celebrate your Easter weekend, wherever you are, however you may be listening. Thanks for making us part of your day. It's wonderful to be back, and I do need to apologize for Friday. Some of you know it's been a year for me. The 2026 has been a great year so far for this channel. Bad year for the country. Not an ideal year for my personal life, so I apologize. I try and keep that as limited as possible, but occasionally interruptions happen. Then we tried to reschedule for Friday night, and I got a piece of equipment, but I was missing a cord. I went to 3 different stores, couldn't get the cord, so we couldn't make that work on Friday night. And then I was like, I'm gonna go find some TikTok lives to jump in, and I laid on the floor to stretch, and then I woke up, and it was like 3 hours later, and I was like, shit, my bad. So, my bad, everybody. It's mostly Jen's fault, I think, for having faith that I would accomplish making something work.
I didn't have any faith. That's where. I mean, I wasn't surprised that you fell asleep on the floor.
There was a little faith, I feel like. I mean, you thought it was going to happen.
I mean, I did send you the instructions to set up the equipment. So, I mean, I guess. So maybe a little.
That's true. It is hard to find a cord at the golf course. I did not go to the golf course. In fact, I canceled golf to do the stream because I was going to play Friday evening, and I didn't. But made up for it this weekend. My daughter was with me on Saturday. We were together all day. I watched, I think, maybe 3 full seasons of Breaking Bad while my daughter threw up on the hour every hour. And that's my first real experience having her be. She's only thrown up like once or twice in her life outside of being like a toddler. And she hates it. She gets really mad at it. She told me at one point, we were sitting on the couch. She told me, she's like, Dad, I'd rather have bad luck than throw up again. Like, yeah, that's fair. So, what were we saying there, Jen?
Throwing up's not fun.
You probably like it. It's probably something that you're into, watching other people suffer by throwing up.
I mean, I don't want to. For me, no. No, I'm okay with barf in general. Like, I don't want to be around it. It's not something that I obviously enjoy, but
it's not like a kink for you.
No.
Okay, that's good. That's
other kinks. So.
But then she woke up ready to go Sunday morning. She threw up on the hour every hour till like 10, and then just woke up like nothing had happened. So she's back to normal, and I didn't get it so far. So hopefully that's good. Got solid bowel movements, no puke. We're doing well. How are you, Jen?
Fantastic. So you had a good zombie Jesus day.
Did have a good zombie. Well, yeah, it was great, really good day for me.
Good.
I got invited to church. I didn't go, which was cool. It was not surprising. And then I played golf. It was great.
Sounds like a good weekend. So.
Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic.
Axe said, "Congrats on Arizona for an awesome season, but go freaking blue." Yeah, listen, I'm not a Arizona fan, so I don't give a shit. I'm glad that I don't know. Am I a Michigan fan? I like the Fab Five, so if that counts as being a Michigan fan, that works.
Did you hear about some of the tea that was going on this weekend?
Are you talking about the dumbest person on TikTok?
Which one?
Getting caught up in an affair?
Oh. I mean, are we talking about?
It's the dumbest person. If anybody knows who I'm talking about, I didn't know. Ash actually told me yesterday. I don't know anything about it, to be honest.
Are we talking about Jerk and Lou?
I don't name names. But I know that couple has a combined IQ of a grape. He's legit. Fuck it. I don't even care. I think I've said it on here before. He's legitimately the dumbest person I have ever spoken to, ever. Talking to him makes my head hurt. And I saw he has like 500,000 followers. His engagement's not great.
Are we talking about the same person?
Yeah. Go look at his TikTok.
He's got 500,000 followers?
Go look at his TikTok, yeah. And then look at his
up.
And then look at it. Well, look, it's when you're MAGA. Like they go through all these like following campaigns.
Hell.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Did you look it up?
I haven't, no. But
also could have bought them. But this is normal with MAGA. Like it's a lot of bots and they amplify. In fact, this probably I'll just bump this story up right now and then we'll get into it. But let me pull this up and then switch screens. This kind of shows you how this works. Like it's very coordinated and it's very much on purpose.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. This is actually, if you can see this, sorry for those with a smaller screen. This is from Nate Silver. This is so far the engagement in Twitter in 2026. These names are unbelievable. This is where and this is why right wingers are so fucking confused. This is why MAGA is so goddamn dumb. Because this is who they're seeing. They see Elon. They see Gunther Eagleman. Do you guys know who Gunther Eagleman is? He's number 3. Gunther Eagleman is legitimately just a guy. He doesn't like break news. He just dick rides Donald Trump. Yeah, none of you have heard of Gunther Eagleman, I promise. Unless you're on Twitter, I'll pull him up here. You've never heard of him. He's literally just a guy. And he just reposts anything that Trump or Elon put up. It's him. What's he got? 1.7 million followers. It's just this, just trigger. It's all like he doesn't say anything. He just reposts stuff.
So he's no original content, just reposts.
No, nothing. Same with Eric Doherty. I don't know what his role was. Jackson Hinkle. This one's a weird one because Jackson Hinkle is like a communist, but he sides with the right consistently. Now he's anti-Israel, so he's back, I guess, on the left. So they have him listed as, but he's just, but I don't know. I don't even know if he's a communist. I just know that I don't like him at all. Every time I hear him speak, I'm like, I don't like that. Lib's a TikTok here, though. Like Cat Turd. Have you guys seen Cat Turd? That's just a redneck that reposts stuff. Benny Johnson, the White House, Nick Sorter, Wall Street Apes, MAGA Voice, James Woods, the insane person, Rapid Response. And then who's the biggest? Brian Allen is the biggest on the left. Got the Krasensteins probably down there. Asen, I think is how you say his name. I use a lot of him and Aaron Rupar's stuff. I mean, this is all you need to know about Twitter. Nobody that says anything is a big account. It is all just like repost. Yeah.
Well, that's all. Yeah, no, I had no idea I had that many followers. I did go look. So
yeah.
That's insane.
But I don't say it lightly. Legitimately, the dumbest person I know. I don't give a fuck if people have relationships on Twitter outside of their marriage. I think that people can do whatever the hell they want. It is sometimes funny that it happens with MAGA because they're always talking about family values, but I'll say one thing. One thing I know for certain is that most of the creators I've met, and you'll notice I don't do much with creators, almost all of them I don't like. All of them make me nervous. All of them love attention, and so I'm never surprised when any of this shit happens.
Yeah, no, I mean, what was there was the one attorney, our favorite attorney, said that they weren't going to be involved. They were going to be not on the app when it was happening, and they end up very much.
Didn't they have this? Didn't she have the same thing? Didn't that happen with her and someone else? That happened with her and someone else.
So I don't think that issue was that there was cheating. I mean, not on his wife, I guess, on the forehead. It was cheating on the forehead. So.
Wait, hold on. Forehead is not his wife? Sorry,
No.
That's rude. So, I won't say. I don't know what their name is. You can say that. I'm not going to say that. So wait, the drama is that he got caught cheating on his side piece.
So the wife and him were separated.
We're talking about Jam and Lou for anybody who's asking. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
So for wife, they've been separated for a while, like not together.
Oh, okay.
So he was with Forehead for like 2 months, and then I guess he sent stuff around, videos of himself, from my understanding, to other people and messaging other people.
Don't send, if you're a creator, don't send dick pics. Okay? Don't do it. It will be used against you. You can guarantee it will be used. Don't do that. Don't send dick pics.
Or videos.
Or videos. Also.
Or videos.
Yeah, whatever. Do your thing. People do whatever you want. I'm sorry. I'm kink shaming.
But yeah, so there's all of that. And I think Law of the Wild got sucked in at one point, I think yesterday. I saw he was on the
Law of the Wild?
Well, so they wanted some, I guess there's, discussion of lawsuits. They're going to sue other people. They want to sue people. So
for what? What are they suing for now?
Well, I guess Lou, his Facebook got taken down. So he lost money, and so he's saying that it was.
How did his?
He's claiming that people reported his Facebook and it got taken down. I don't. So now I guess there was just, defamation, like we were saying, all kinds of things, and so they wanted some. They had a couple questions, and Law was kind enough to come up and ask.
Oh, he was giving legal advice.
It wasn't legal advice. He just said, in certain situations can or cannot, what could be considered an offense. I don't know. But yeah, I listened to it for a little bit, but it got to the point where between the voice, a forehead, and everything else, it got to be a lot. So,
while we're here, TikTok, it's good to be here. Happy to be here. Don't ban us, but also what a hellhole. That actually reminds me. I just wasn't on the ad. This is the best ad I've ever seen in my life. I saw it yesterday. Oh shoot, this is gonna try and make me. Can I do this? If I don't, hold on. Yeah, it'll let me do it. Say if I don't have Facebook, will let me play this ad. Have you seen this ad, Jen? You're gonna have to look at an actual screen. This ad is so good. I want to show this ad.
Don, what are you doing in there? Don? Hello?
So I take a pic of my face.
What?
And she responds back, cute face. Weird. Three, two, one, hit.
It's a good ad. That's a good ad. It's from Manscaped.
I've never heard of that before.
Manscaped? Oh, they're great. It's like a little electric shaver that's meant for sensitive areas. Manscaped, send me. Yeah, I've got a Manscaper. Send me a promo code Manscaped if you're out there.
Crazy. I mean that's true. For some reason, that sending those pics is a thing that your species does. I don't know why that's a thing.
And just know, if you ever send one of those to Jen, it's going in a file. She will have that forever. And if you ever do anything, she will blackmail you with that. Don't do it.
Well, so I have decided I'm probably gonna venture out in the dating scene again.
Let's talk about
so
that.
I guess, yeah.
Wait, what? What's going on, Jen?
I've decided maybe I'm gonna start dating again, see how it goes. Maybe I'll have some.
What are you doing? You downloading some dating apps?
I'm considering it, but we'll see. But yeah, no. Before I went on timeout,
Chat's about to shoot their shot.
Before I put myself in dating timeout, that was a whole thing. I had a ton of those kinds of pics sent to me all the time. So, definitely.
What are we looking for, Jen?
I know.
Tell us about it. Give us a preview of what your bio would say. What's a prompt we can here? Let me pull up a dating app. I have a dating app now. Let me pull up some prompts here. What is a random fact that you love, Jen?
Not an idea. No idea. Nothing on my.
Pretty good.
No idea.
All right. I recently discovered that.
I have to think about things.
This is going well.
I have to think about answers. I'm very intentional with my wording, so I can't just go.
You're gonna chat. You're gonna chat GPT the fuck out of that.
I keep files.
Yeah, it'll be Jen. We'll do a whole research project on it. All right. What's the age range for you, Jen? So the people in the chat know.
I've considered maybe being okay with going younger, not by a lot.
You've considered it, huh?
I've thought about it.
You've never ventured out there. You've just considered it.
No, I've always dated older, but as I'm getting older, I don't want to go too old. So we'll see. But,
all right. So you're not giving us the range. What's the range here?
Probably like a 35 to 55 range. Probably
35. That's broad. Okay.
Well, I mean, is it
a different? I don't think I could get away with doing a 20-year range. I think I would get some criticism for that.
Well, I'm right in the middle. I'm gonna be. I'll be 43 this summer. So.
I guess that's true. If I went 10 years both ways, I probably wouldn't get shit for that, right? It's just if I went 20 years younger. Okay, that makes sense. Never mind. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
But I mean, I can keep you updated. I'm sure there will be.
It would be great. A lot of people have suggested a Jen's dating channel. Do you have any updates for us today?
No. If we have a Jen's dating channel, I'll probably have to be
members only.
It's right. I'll have to figure out what I will and won't share because, don't want to do all that.
All right.
But
I wish you the best on your journey. This is exciting.
I'm probably gonna regret it. It's probably gonna be a terrible decision on my part, but we'll see.
Shar says Jam and Lou is single.
Saw. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So
Amy said, as a woman, men almost zero women want those pics. Seriously, we talk about not wanting them with each other. Axe said, congrats. I already read that one. There was a couple.
There was a period like when I was dating years ago. I literally had, I don't want to say a folder, but there were so many. Like it was no one wants these. No one wants to see this.
Somewhere C notes going. Jamar wants them for sure. Send them all to Jamar.
I think that's a guy thing. I think guys are the visual, and they think that women are the same.
Yeah.
Which is weird. But
yeah, I think the best thing to happen to me as far as like dating again is the fact that I'm a relatively public person. So I can be blackmailed quite easily. So it's made it a little easier for dating. Asta Sophia from across the pond says, Dollar Train, remember to like the stream, and happy Easter to you, Jay and Jen, and all the fabulous mods and RTP fam. Ty says, good morning, friends. Open the fucking live. Like that. And a reminder to everybody, we are completely and totally crowdfunded by you. We're like PBS, except for Trump hasn't tried to shut us down yet. So anything you can do to help us knock out our gift goal each and every single day would be greatly appreciated. I've got some bad news I also need to share with you. We may only have 2 streams this week, Monday and Tuesday. I haven't got my schedule yet for Wednesday, but Thursday and Friday I am off. This happens every single year. So if you've been with us for a while, you know that you should have known this was coming, but every single year I have a big golf tournament that I play in with one of my closest friends, and it takes up like the Wednesday through Saturday, and I'm blasted most of that time. However, I may be doing a TikTok live with Ash on Wednesday night, and if that happens, it will be inebriated, so we may have to make that members only.
Surprising. All right, well, we can get going. Like Jay mentioned, we've got the gift goal that we need to hit. If we want to get some overtime for the gift goal, that would be sweet. Since Jay's abandoning us for golf, that would be cool. So, yeah, Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, all go towards knocking out the gift goal. We do this each day, Monday through Friday from 9:30 to 1 Pacific time. If you guys disagree with RTP and you want to come and have a conversation, you can do so. How you do that is you send me a DM on Discord. My Discord's the same as the Venmo, so Jen with 2 N's, Deb with 2 B's, the number 1. Check out the link tree in the bio. We're on most social media platforms. We've got merch. Jay's on Cameo. We upload these episodes to Spotify. And Pink sent Venmo said, can you show everyone the present I left for you in the out of context thread? Oh, I think this was the I text this one to you.
Let me look.
Let's see. Grab it.
Is it the one in the rugs?
One? Yeah.
There you go. Apparently that was me on Friday night. Thank you for that. So, if you're not a member of the Discord, hop in that. There's a lot of new out of context videos in here. Should we show them?
Sure. I
set them on live, so it can't really hurt, right? It probably could hurt.
Sure.
Let's see.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
also, I don't.
Oh,
Pink sent this, I think, on Friday, or that it was their birthday. So they left the present in the out of context channel. So a late happy birthday.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Pink. I appreciate that. We'll do the out of context stuff. You got to join the Discord to do that. I changed my mind on that. So somebody said, can we do an IRL stream? Maybe a little bit on the Wednesdays, like the practice round. So we could probably maybe do it on Wednesday. I'll see if my playing partner has any opposition to that. He has a very corporate job, so he may not want to be publicly associated with me. He has a relatively decent sized account that he uses a pseudonym for, and he's very liberal. But many of the people he works with are not. I won't name his company, but you all know who they. You would all know who they are. So I'm not sure about that. All right, Jen. Anything else?
Yeah. Like I said, if we not have to gift goal sooner rather than later, that would be sweet. Why was the broom late for school?
I don't know.
He overswept.
Thank you. Thank you, Miguel. If you're an atheist, just admit absolutely nothing matters. All right, bud. Fun fact about you. Just because something matters to you doesn't mean it matters to somebody else. And if you need somebody up in the sky or some mythical being for you to find purpose in life, I highly recommend you stick with that. And good for you for having that. The rest of us who don't have that, we're also fine. So fucking relax, dude. Nobody cares. OCD said, what do 9-volt batteries and buttholes have in common? You're not supposed to put your tongue on it, but do anyways. All right. I know for sure you're not supposed to put your tongue on a 9-volt. I do know that one for sure. That doesn't feel good. My brother got me with that one as a child. Probably could have gone in a bad direction. All right. This just made me laugh. This is just me being petty, but apparently, shortly, just an hours after Pam Bondi was fired, somebody snapped this picture at the Department of Justice, and her picture was already in the trash. So that was pretty cool, and that made me happy. But talking about Pam Bondi, Daily Show did an incredible. Let's call this in memoriam of Pam Bondi. I think this is actually older, but I saw it today and I loved it. So we're gonna watch this.
Hasn't been firing administration.
Booty tastes better than bad. Who's that? Sam, real quick. It said it's okay, Libby. Only 2.5 more years. Good trolling. I want you to watch this though. Could you shut the fuck up for a second and watch this, and then make fun of us some? I'm gonna pull up the calculator. 119 million divided by 22.5 million. That means 5.28 people were sharing each pill. And so they were splitting that essentially in sixths. And then a third of the country would have died off of those 21.
Wow.
Good to see the cope from the MAGA. Oh, like you guys are honest. Just laugh at this. Make fun of her. Stop playing both sides. Stop playing like sides here. It's dumb. This is stupid. Your attorney general is stupid, was stupid, or is still stupid. No longer the attorney general. Why do you have so many dumb fucks working for you for this administration? Doesn't bother you? 258 divided by 22.5. That means they were now splitting each pill into twelfths. Twelfths. 2/3 of the country dead. And she said that. She looked at the camera. You ready for this, media? You fucking ready for this? She said it in a nobody corrected her. This is an Oval Office meeting. Not one person. It's gonna be like, Pam, fucking relax, would you? Trudy said Robert is requesting donations again. So on behalf of Robert, fuck off, Robert. Thank you. Robert is my best fundraiser here. Robert, thanks for being here as always. And if you do want to make Robert upset, the best way to do that is to help us knock out our gift goal. And Robert, you're doing great, bud.
This media, 347 bajillion lives.
All right. We started off a little petty today. A lot petty today. I just didn't know what to do with my timeline this morning. I had no idea what to do with my timeline. This was on my timeline. How did this get here? Why does this exist? I'm not even going to preface it. We're going in cold. I'm about to raw dog you with this video of Benny Johnson and what's his Giggity.
I had someone come and brief me who was in a military uniform, worked for the United States Army, that was briefing me on the location.
Quagmire is what I was looking for.
Of hybrid breeding programs where captured aliens were breeding with humans to create some hybrid race that could engage in intergalactic communication. An actual uniformed member of the United States Army briefed me on that.
Non-human biologics, interracial alien mating? What the F is going on? Look, wait a second. You had whistleblowers tell you this kind of thing? Can you please unpack that?
Yeah, I had a guy who was
A good reminder, real quick, that these two people discussing interspecies breeding. This is a Russian plant here, a propagandist who's willing to take anybody's money to do his show, and this is a pedophile with a really big fucking head.
He was a senior enlisted with the United States Army, came into my office in Crestview, Florida, in a non-classified setting. I had members of my staff there, and what they explained is that the military ran a very secret program where aliens that were living were in forced breeding programs with humans that had been abducted from war zones and from even the caravans of migrants. Now, again, I didn't verify this, but what the whistleblower was telling me is that there were like between 6 and 12 locations around the country where this happened. And what he wanted was a group.
Somebody explained budget slots here that Benny Johnson took hundreds of thousands of dollars from Russia to promote propaganda.
Members of Congress to all show up at the same time at all of these different locations so that any of those activities could not be moved. And of course, it's a physical impossibility to get members of Congress to simultaneously show up at like 8 locations at one time. And so that never occurred.
I honestly don't even really know what to do with that. It could be true. What are we going to do? Rule that out? Somebody just said it like, yeah, like 9 scientists have just gone missing. Nobody can figure out what's going on. It's weird, but what are we going to do? We're going to dismiss that offhand? Oh yeah, Russia's just sending Benny money. Are you guys unaware of this? Are you Republicans here legitimately unaware that Benny Johnson got caught taking Russian money to do anti-Ukraine propaganda? Are you honestly, tell me the truth. Are you honestly unaware of this? Do we need to cover this today? You haven't heard of Tenet Media? You don't know that Russia was paying Tim Pool and Benny Johnson and what was that other idiot? Dave Rubin, who was the fourth one? Okay, maybe it was Michael Knowles. Is this new to you? They've all admitted it. Like they all have said that they took that money. Honest to God, that's crazy. You didn't know that. Phoenix said one of the men is a lizard man hiding in human skin. The other is too, but named Matt. Thank you. Yeeta said on behalf of Robert. Also, fuck Robert. There you go, Robert. You're getting fucked, which is good. That doesn't happen most of the time. Brittany said, fuck Trump, fuck Tex, and fuck Robert. Thank you, Brittany. Robert's swimming in it today. Appreciate that. And let me pop up Jen's messages here. I got those. All right. If that wasn't weird enough, Trump's pick for head of FEMA is a man named Greg Phillips. He is not the head of FEMA, excuse me, he's the head of FEMA's Office of Response and Recovery. This is somebody who we're going to call on in times of national emergencies to help people out. And this is Greg Phillips.
To an exclusive K-File report you saw first here on Outfront.
Oh,
New fallout over a top FEMA official's claim that he was teleported, yes, teleported, to a Waffle House.
Sorry that's so quiet. I don't know why that's so quiet. Sorry.
Yes, Waffle House, miles away. Democratic lawmakers have been raising concerns about those
Trump's speaking right now? God damn it. All right, we'll see. We'll get back to this. What's he doing?
Had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as
I just assume we're talking about the rescued airmen.
Siege militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within side of Iran, the people of Iran.
Whose phone is so close to the microphone and ringing on an outbound call? Do you guys hear an outbound call happening next to the microphone here?
Given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. They want to go as far away because they...
When you're involved in a shoot down, what you don't want to do is stand there next to the shoot down. You want to go far away. Oh, okay. Explaining this is brilliant. He learned it for the first time. Why didn't he just stay with the plane? Well, because he was shot down. So there would be people coming to get him. Oh, okay. I'll explain that to the people.
Well, head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled...
He was an amazing thing?
Cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space and they're in good shape.
Why is it sucking? Are you talking about a GPS tracker? What is a beeper thing? You need lots of battery space? Come on. We cannot pretend that this guy shouldn't be 25th right now. What are we talking about here, folks? He is cooked.
And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher, and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters.
A bomber's really fucking useful for a rescue mission. Thank God we brought in the... What are we bringing in bombers for?
48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were...
This is sleep deprivation. Thanks, Kevin. This is sleep deprivation. What, you pulling excuses for him now? Guys, he's not insane. He just hasn't been sleeping well. Stop trying to make something. Oh, yeah, Biden was sleep deprivation, too, for sure. Trump hasn't made sense in a year, but he got to get the guy some fucking sleep. Didn't nobody give him his Adderall this morning?
Scattered it all over like we were right on top of him. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute.
Please tell us, TikTok guy, what planes they should have used. Well, look, you can see rescue missions. You know what planes they use. Like if you're going to try and distract people, perhaps a bomber, which they can't see from the ground, wouldn't be a good distraction. What kind of dipshit would be like, oh, that's the bomber. We should probably follow the bomber. I think the bomber is the one going to rescue him. I think they wound up using a Black Hawk. Isn't that what they eventually rescued him with? I'm sure he'll tell us. It's not about the rescue mission, by the way. Like, it is alarming to watch you guys in real time be upset with me. I'm mocking this dipshit that can't explain anything. If he can't explain any of this, if he doesn't know what any of these words mean, are we comfortable having him be commander-in-chief? Yeah, we are. We do work. We worship him. We don't even notice this stuff. When he gets insane, we just pretend that it's 4D chess. Pilot had a Huawei phone from China.
They've got groups here. They've got groups there. It's amazing.
Yeah, we lost 2. Exactly. We lost 2 C-130s and 2 Black Hawks doing this. We lost like refueling planes. We lost satellite planes. Yeah, we'll get to this in a little bit, but he's not telling you anything. Nobody knows what he's saying here.
I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing. But I listened to the whole thing. It was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody...
Quick reminder, Pete Hegseth is not a general. He was thrown out of his own military unit for being a white nationalist piece of shit drunkard, and was never a general.
Thought he was located. We think we have him over there because...
Yeah, he calls General Kane Raisin Kane. I'm not sure if he knows his first name. He always says General Raisin Kane.
9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's...
Hegseth just got hard when he heard lethality.
Military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats.
Yeah, Pete Hegseth did serve and had multiple tours, but what I said is he was a drunk, a white nationalist, and not a general. So that's not really a response to what I said, right? And why do you guys always do that? How come when I say something true about the people on your side, you change the argument into something else? Was he a general? No. Did he get thrown out of his own unit? Yes. Why did he get thrown out of his own unit? Because he was a white nationalist and they didn't like him. Is he also a drunk? Yes. All of those things are true. Relax.
And exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapons system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape.
Some say 2 days.
Bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, old pretty old planes. He carried a lot. We needed a lot more
I believe he was National Guard. He might have been in the reserve. I think he was National Guard.
equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains.
Thank you, Sky, for that answer. Once again, proving I was correct. He's a drunk. He's a white nationalist and not a general. Trump called him a general.
And we had a lot of equipment, but the sand was sandy, wet sand. So we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane. And then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes. And they got pretty well bogged down. And we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want to.
Who's that saying the National Guard is the reserves? The National Guard is under the operation of the states, and they work on local emergencies, and they can be under federal command if they are deployed to combat missions. But the reserves are a different unit that are strictly for federal forces. So no, not exactly the same.
But we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up. And we had
Remember when Biden left equipment behind? We still hear about that every day. When Trump does it, it was again 4D chess.
Faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used, and couldn't have lived without them. They did, and they performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it.
J-Rod, let me know what I got wrong on any of this. Thanks. I know more than he does. It's true. I'm not a military expert. I would feel comfortable in a room with Donald Trump, as limited as my military knowledge is. Put me and Trump next to each other in a room, and I would feel very comfortable sounding more coherent than what he's saying right now.
Came off the plane, and these guys had them. The rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters. Small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas.
That's how they describe Trump.
And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But
you're saying it was a 10-minute repair? You're not saying it sounds like he's saying they built aircraft in 10 minutes.
They served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged.
2 of them, the low bar for genius with Trump is amazing. Think of the things he has called genius. Planning ahead. And also remember that one time he bragged about how his kid can turn his own computer on? His son who's in college, he can turn that fucker right on. It's crazy.
This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine right in the middle? This was central. This was right, you would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location. And probably the toughest area of Iran.
That's not what central casting is. I think he wanted to say I think he was trying to say that it was like in the center of Iran. That's not what central casting is.
We'd be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so
maybe
quick.
he was trying to say central command. I don't know what he was trying to say, but central casting is basically like if somebody looks the part. You'd say they're straight out of central casting. It's somebody that like so obviously is supposed to play that part. Can we 25th him yet? Can we please 25th this guy yet? Can you guys stop it? Just be honest. You know how silly you look when you complained about Biden and you criticized everybody who was slow on Biden, and then you're watching this and you're like, no, this is fine. You know how silly you look?
And got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got 15-minute intervals. One load out, one load out, one load out. It happened. And we were watching, and we said, "That's amazing." It's in many ways, I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had than.
I can't believe these motherfuckers thought ahead. He's blown away that our military thought ahead.
The fact that if we would have had a runway or decent soil, but it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single one of them.
Thanks,
and
God.
the talent, the genius is not even talent; it's genius. It's the whole ball game, every one of them.
What is he talking about?
If you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes, and he lived behind iron doors.
We're weaving, folks. We're weaving. Here's the weave.
Steel doors, broke them down so quickly, and within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group. Incredible. We have incredibly talented people. And if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these.
I love that when he reads a sentence that he actually understood and then he just repeats it. I'm a big fan of that.
Historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came out. God was watching us. I tell you, well, it was the Easter.
Yeah, except for we do a lot of times. Like a lot of times we do. We've rescued people before. This was in the middle of the desert. The pilot had climbed up onto a mountain, allegedly. Some people are saying that that's not possible. I don't know the details on that. But we'll keep watching, I guess. I don't know.
We were in Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. It's amazing. Because when you look at the machinery, they took damage. It tells you, first thing I said is, these are unbelievable machines, how they flew back and not even much of a problem. But these two.
You can't believe they flew back. Planes, their helicopter. I'm pretty sure that's what they're supposed to do. I think they're supposed to fly. I bet this dude wakes up every morning. He's like, the fucking sun again? It's amazing. Every fucking day. How many days in a row is that now? The sun has come up. It must be God watching over us. Sun doesn't come up in other countries every day.
Extraordinary rescues, because it was two. And as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker. And talked about there's somebody missing.
Usually a leaker is what happens right before they shut down a Trump press conference. Just a little leaker comes out. Oh, no.
They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail.
And they're going to say, go fuck yourself. And then we're going to have a problem. We're gonna go to the media and we're gonna say national security, give it up, or you're not gonna say any of that. That's not how any of this works, Donald. Nothing's gonna happen. It's gonna be fine.
And we know who, and you know who we're talking about, because some things you can't do. Because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there.
Does anybody know what outlet got this story first? I looked. I can't see who got it first. Does anybody know?
We're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to
it's a reward. It's a reward.
Hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military, we had millions of people trying to get an award. So when you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't
Somebody come get Grandpa. Somebody come get him. He's falling apart.
imagine that the person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long, and I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that...
I don't know if he knows he's a member of the executive branch. He can't just put people in jail. 25th, please. Can we get rid of this guy?
Went in looking for him, because everyone now knows that we're going in. Over the past 37 days, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the...
Boy, we sure are losing a lot of aircraft for a country whose military we've completely obliterated. Where they go? David is a real David and Goliath story over here. What are they throwing rocks? I thought we obliterated their entire military. Didn't they just tell us last week their Air Force was taken out? Their Navy was taken out? What are they doing up here? Witchcraft?
First manned aircraft down by the enemy in this entire operation with thousands and thousands of flights. They got lucky. It was a lucky hit. You know, eventually you get lucky. But we got lucky too because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is
Axios, NBC, and Fox simultaneously reported. Does anybody know the journalist that got the scoop? That is smart, though, to give it to 3 different journalists. That means it's somebody in their administration.
unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We've
literally seen all of this. It's not to say that it's not impressive by our military that they can do this, but like we've seen all of this.
Late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we say, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, with wet.
Kind of farm doesn't have a
crummy
fucking
soil,
runway.
Sand, mostly sand, wet sand.
We're back on the sand. Good.
And it eats planes alive, and we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land.
It was quicksand. Have you ever seen what is that? Princess Bride? It was that kind of sand. The plane lands, it eats it. And then there's these massive rodents that they come out and they'll try and eat you too. So not only were we battling plane eating sand, but also soldier eating rodents. It was terrifying. Thank God for the Dred Scott, what is it? Pirate Dred, what is his name? Dred Pirate Roberts, is that what it was?
And take
People
off.
want to say Dred Scott, that's not it. Dred Pirate Roberts.
And they came in like magic. Boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. So impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting for...
What are you talking about? That's called Iran Prime, guys. That's where the whole bet is. I bet you were looking for the fucking bed in Iran. That's Iran Prime, where the fucking bed is. It's a mattress depot. Great prices on slightly used mattresses. What the fuck is he talking about? Iran Prime now $9.99 monthly, but you get free 2-day shipping, which is terrific. Also, Sophia said, sheesh, how can Maggot listen to this and say, that's the guy, he's incoherent and unhinged in a word salad mixer. I'm hearing my brain cells dying a slow death. What is he talking about?
A plane, but they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to. Let's go, come on, get
Hell
in,
yeah.
let's go. Pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't.
Sorry, we're gonna clip this out of context. You just tell me what he's talking about here. Where are we at? We're gonna clip this out of context here. Who's that guy that does the if Trump is a gay man, he's gonna do this?
First manned aircraft down by the enemy in this entire operation with thousands and thousands of flights. They got lucky. It was a lucky hit. You know, eventually you get lucky. But we got lucky too because we got both of them back. But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be
Sorry, I went back pretty
involved
far.
with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we say, come on, let's go, get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway.
Sorry, I went back so
Wet.
far. I'm so sorry.
Crummy soil, sand, mostly
It
sand.
was Barack Ravid from Axios that scooped it. Thank you.
Wet sand, and it eats planes alive. And
God, I went back so
we're
far.
waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off. And they came in like magic. Boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed by that. Because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting.
Here we are waiting for him to come one at a time. Bam, bam, bam. Come in, get hard. Right in the Iran Prime, right in the bed.
For a plane, but they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what to. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Pwah. They came one right after another, not at the same time.
You're running a train on that farm.
They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land.
This is called Operation Iranian Bukkake.
Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand. So I'm so proud of the people that I have standing up here with me and many others that worked. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically. Jared Kushner. But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing. And I think I'm going to introduce...
Can you imagine being General Kane? Like, you spent your whole life waiting for this moment, and you got the president not understanding any of this?
The head of the CIA, and he is a man who... He's central casting, okay? If we cast a movie, he's going to play the head of the CIA.
There you go. There we go. Now we got central
John
casting.
Ratcliffe, he did a phenomenal job that night. He did something that I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you want, you can.
Is he reading porn script stories? It seems like it, Asta Sophia. I don't know.
I'm not sure he's supposed to. I'm not going to talk about it, but the CIA was very responsible for finding this little speck. It's like they used an expression on one of the shows. The general was talking about, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding this pilot. And the CIA was...
Except for the needle had a GPS tracker. Except for that part.
Unbelievable. And you may, if you can, you'll talk.
Straight
it
out
might
of
be
central casting
classified,
couch.
in which
also.
case I'd have to put him in jail if he talks about it. And I don't want to put him in jail. He doesn't deserve that. So, John, do you want to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a privilege to be here with you today to share what we can about this exceptional mission and to recognize the ingenuity and bravery of those who executed it, as well as the leadership and resolve of the president who ordered it. One thing that has been clear to me in this role is that the flawless military operations that the Department of War is known for are hostage to flawless intelligence. We saw that in the skies over Iran in Operation Midnight Hammer last summer. We witnessed it in Venezuela during Operation...
You can hear people leaning forward and realizing, okay, now we're going to get details.
Absolute resolve. We've seen it against the cartels in the Western Hemisphere, and we're seeing it every day in Operation Epic Fury, including this mission to rescue an aviator buried deep behind enemy lines. Because it is the unique tradition of the U.S.
By the way, we could just not be having people shot down because we're fighting a dumb fucking war that makes no goddamn sense. That's another thing we could do, is just not do any of this.
Armed forces, that we leave no man or woman behind. This was a no-fail mission. That was the spirit in which the president put us to work.
Do we have missions that aren't no-fail missions? Do we have missions that are like, yeah, fuck it, fail?
We were determined not to let him down or our airmen down. As an agency, the CIA possesses unique capabilities that only the president...
Amber said, someone tell Grandpa Don we wouldn't have 13 dead and have to spend billions to save soldiers if Dementia Don didn't start wars for no reason. Tanya said, good luck at your tournament this week. Thank you, Tanya.
...can deploy. Some of these capabilities fall under covert action authorities. And because covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single...
When you have to use this much hyperbole to describe what you did, perhaps it wasn't that impressive.
A grain of sand in the middle of a desert.
Grain of sand with a GPS tracker. This is a desert. They have grains of sand. This is nothing like finding a grain of sand in the desert. This is nothing like finding a needle in a haystack. This is finding exact coordinates from somebody with a GPS tracker. I don't know why they have to pretend that this is something that it's not. What's up, Jen?
Just want to mention, or pause for a second, with TikTok, we're playing videos of the president. We are sharing responsibility. We are confirming sources before we're sharing them. So please don't ban us.
We got a warning for sources. Literally playing the White House and TikTok's like, I'm not sure that's a viable source there. Right,
this was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected. For that reason, in addition to the human and technical assets...
They better put the trials of this administration on pay-per-view. After this administration stealing our money, we'll need it. Yeah, maybe that's how we pay down our debt. Just each trial's pay-per-view. That might be a good way.
Deployed by the president to find our airman, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. That confirmation was relayed by Secretary Hegseth to the president, and the operation quickly moved to the execution phase. Following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night, our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this.
They shot down your fucking plane. They shot down our fucking plane. They were humiliated. No, they weren't. What the fuck are you talking about?
We have inside sources that says their feelings were very, very hurt by this. We are so powerful that they were really, really sad about this.
They shot down your fucking plane after you said that they don't have a military anymore. Are you out of your goddamn mind? What country would shoot down an enemy plane and be like, this is humiliating that we didn't get the pilot? No. Nobody believes that. What are you... These idiots. Somebody wrote that. Look, he read it. He fucking read that. That wasn't off the top of his head. That's Stephen Miller or Donald Trump being like, put in a line about how they're humiliated. Yeah, sure they are. For sure, they're humiliated by this. We were so impressive, they couldn't believe it. I mean, they shot down your plane. don't think that's what happened.
Audacious rescue mission. When the president asked me to lead the CIA, he made it clear, get back to basics, no politics.
Sounds like an excuse to pull out forces. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I have no faith that they're going to do the right thing.
No agendas. Tackle the hardest problems and execute the toughest missions. This president is about results. And now, that's what
his results are terrible. We were going to be there for like a week. We're over a month now. Donald Trump has provided no result. Like I guess anything is a result, right? However anything shakes out as a result. Maybe that's what he means. Good results. It hasn't been good results, that's for sure.
The CIA is about too. The professionals at the agency and at the Department of War deserve immense credit for their flawless execution during this
Good point, Amber. Just a reminder, they did shoot down our planes with sticks and stones since they don't have a military
mission. Their skill, creativity, and courage are unmatched on the battlefield wherever they step.
Did we have one jet shot down in Iraq or Afghanistan? I'm sure. I know we had helicopters like in the Marcus Luttrell, what was that called? Lone Survivor. We lost a couple helicopters there. I'm sure we did. By the way, did you guys know that whole story is bullshit? That entire Lone Survivor thing is like bullshit? That he actually just ran? And they didn't fight like hundreds of Taliban. I think it was like 20. And then they just, Marcus Luttrell just ran. And like in his original testimony, like to the military, he said he basically panicked and sat there like covering his ears while everybody died. But then when he got back, the military was like, no, you're going to tell a different story. And then they coached him up and then they made the movie and they wrote the book. It's crazy. There's a podcast I like. I hate their politics. So if you turn them on for their politics, you're going to hate it. But it's called the Anti-Hero Podcast. And they're all like, I don't remember who he was with. He might have been a ranger. And then the other guy, I think, was served and then is in law enforcement. And they've exposed like basically anybody you know from the military who is like told a story, who like has a movie about them. Basically all of them are lying. And they break it down. They talk to the other operators that were with them and they confirm it was a lie. But the Marcus Luttrell thing's a lie. The guy who claims he shot bin Laden didn't shoot bin Laden. They exposed Dan Crenshaw for stolen valor. They exposed Tim Kennedy for stolen valor. And when you listen to him, you realize like how big of a propaganda machine our military is. So, yeah, some of you are saying Pat Tillman. Yeah. Pat Tillman is lauded. I'm here in Mesa, Arizona. I used to go to all the ASU games. He's lauded as a hero, and I think rightfully so. But when Pat Tillman was killed, it took years before our military admitted, and I don't even know that they've done it quietly, admitted that it was friendly fire. Like our own guys killed Pat Tillman. It was a complete clusterfuck. He was up at a high position, and he was trying to scream at them, like you literally screaming on the radio, "I'm Pat fucking Tillman, I'm Pat fucking Tillman." Gets shot. Our military lied. They lied to Pat Tillman's family, and then they continuously use these names from their own fuck up. So undoubtedly, like 10 years down the road, 5 years down the road, there's going to be a movie about this, and it's going to be all bullshit. And our military will push it, and they'll hire somebody like, who is the guy that did... the Lone Survivor? I forget his name. Anyways, they'll have some awesome like Hollywood producer do it. Who did kill Osama bin Laden? I think they actually do know who it is now. But that guy hasn't come out and publicly said it. But the other people from SEAL Team 6 say that it was not whatever his name is. What is that guy's name? It's the redheaded guy. They all said it's not him.
But none of that matters. And all of that is wasted without a president with the political courage.
Pete Berg, yeah, thank you, Swervin. Pete Berg directed it.
I've had the privilege of seeing you act with political courage in the best interest of the United States up close on a daily basis. And I'm grateful
now we're glazing President Trump. Good.
That this successful mission has given the American people a window into that as well. The Secretary and Chairman will tell you that our service members' confidence is boosted by a Commander-in-Chief who has their back the same way they have yours. And I know that the confidence
It's written down. It's written. He just turned. It's written down. Suck his dick. Make sure at the end of this you suck Trump's dick. Claim that he did something so great here. How about we just be honest? We're in a war we shouldn't be in for no fucking reason.
CIA's officers is boosted by the knowledge that their work is informing a president who's not afraid to make the hardest decisions when the stakes are highest.
V87, the Raising Kings, the chicken tenders guy? Yeah. Marlene said, this is if Epic Fury was trying to be Saving Private Ryan while being produced by the makers of Airplane. Maybe Airplane 2. I don't know if it's the same producers, but it was worse. Actually, Airplane 2 was all right. Take that back. Electric Dad said, I just looked it up. We had no fixed-wing aircraft shot down in either Iraq or Afghanistan. This administration is so bad. 20 years of war, no planes lost. 1 month, 6 lost. Holy shit. I believe you, Electric Dad. That's crazy. Good. It's not, and you can't even necessarily blame Trump for that. Like, you should have known. This is what you get when you bring in a weekend Fox News host who fires everybody who's not a white nationalist. Just gets rid of all of our generals who aren't like on a Christian crusade to kill Muslims.
And to the American people, your confidence should be boosted by knowing that the security of the nation is in the hands of a president who's willing to take on problems that have confounded both sides of the political aisle for nearly.
This problem has confounded absolutely nobody. Every president has said Iran doesn't have nuclear weapons. Every president has said, no, we're not going to preemptively bomb them. This one, he had the courage to start a war.
Half a century. It is an honor to serve under a leader who just proved that you can believe him when he says, no matter what, we will leave no one behind. We will come for you.
He didn't say any of that. He just talked for 20 minutes. He didn't say any of that. He can't say any of that because he can't spit out coherent sentences. You are now making up quotes and attributing them to him in order to glaze him. He did not say any of that shit. This is so fucking weird. What are we doing here? That is so weird. He doesn't talk like that. He didn't say that. You guys have speechwriters now who are making up quotes that Trump couldn't read. He could not coherently read that. He definitely didn't say that.
Thank you.
You know what he did say? Wet sand, wet sand, wet sand. Like 85 fucking times.
Well, John, thank you for the collaboration with the CIA as well. Incredible and ongoing partnership.
There you go. Get those sniffies
ladies
going.
and gentlemen, fellow Americans. And
all right, now we're about to get some rhymes in. This is what I've been waiting for. I've been waiting for rhyme master Pete Hegseth to show up. This is gonna be eloquent. He prepared for this. He's got a speech written. We are gonna have lots of rhyming and lots of hyperbole. Get your beats ready.
Especially the brave warriors in our armed forces. Over this Easter weekend, the United States military has once again proved why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known.
Because we got planes shot down by a country with no military, allegedly.
In 2 extraordinary combat search and rescue operations
None of this administration has a gag
territory
reflex.
in Iran,
Yes.
our warriors executed missions of breathtaking.
Slob on my knob like corn on the cob.
Skill, courage, and precision.
Maybe the
When our
Iranians use
warriors
lightsabers
are
since they don't have a
unleashed,
military.
as this
Yeah, maybe they're using the Force. That's a good point. That's a good point. They could have been using the Force to bring them down.
President has allowed them to be, they are unstoppable. When American airmen were down behind enemy lines, our forces and our president did not hesitate. Special operators supported by elite air crews and intelligence professionals moved swiftly and decisively into treacherous mountain terrain.
There we go.
Under the constant threat of Iranian forces closing in. Ultimately, it was an impotent Iranian threat. And today,
they shot down your plane. It's ironic using the word impotent next to Donald Trump, but they shot down your plane. What do you mean they were impotent? They shot down your plane.
as the CIA director mentioned, Iran's military, and we know this, is embarrassed and humiliated, and they should be.
Why? Explain it. Explain why they were going to be
Now,
embarrassed.
these are not routine operations. They were high-risk, high-stakes missions conducted in the heart of enemy territory. This was not just barely into Iran. This was deep into Iran.
That's right. It was on the bukkake bed, as Trump told us earlier, where everybody was coming hard and fast.
Involving coordinated strikes to suppress threats, deception tactics to protect our teams, and full synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are still asking themselves right now, how did the Americans do this?
For sure. For sure. That's definitely what they're doing right now. They're definitely not celebrating shooting down your planes. They're like, oh, fuck. We thought we would shoot down the plane and they would come in here and then we would capture them all. Where are you getting this intel, Pete?
One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple and it was powerful.
Okay.
He sent a message, God is good. In that,
That's not powerful, to be clear. Shout out to all of you who believe in God. Not trying to be disrespectful. I'm so tired of the religious imagery coming out of these people. And you know why they do it? They do it to obscure from the fact that they suck at their jobs. I am so fucking tired of people hiding behind religion to pretend that they are better than they are. That's what you're doing here. You guys were incompetent. You are incompetent. This is going horrifically. And you stand up here and you lie to the American people and you gaslight them by using God. It's gross.
that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice.
Oh, Jesus
all of
Christ.
Saturday.
No, don't do it. Don't do
and
it.
rescued on Sunday. Flown
Don't.
out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday.
Don't do it. It's a modern day resurrection. Don't do it. Don't do it, Pete. Please don't do it. Please.
Pilot reborn.
Oh, yeah.
All home and accounted for. A nation rejoicing. God is good.
Shut up, dude. Shut the fuck up.
Despite incoming fire and unforgiving conditions, our troops brought every American home. No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck. It's the result
Thanks, Pete, for a good comedy hour. Thanks, also, Sophia.
of unmatched training, superior technology, an unbreakable warrior ethos,
There we go.
and sheer American grit. Our special operators, pilots, and support crews performed with near perfection under
Yeah,
fire.
except for when they got shot down.
And they were lethal. Just ask any Iranian soldier who dared attempt to get anywhere near that pilot before or during that mission. Death from above.
Cool. Absolute. Oh my God. Don't do it, Pete. Yeah, lovers of all things.
Troops turned a potential tragedy into a resounding demonstration of American resolve and capability. That's what Exodus in uniform looks like.
Exodus.
But make no mistake about it.
Got it.
None of this would have been possible with
He's about to gulp Donald Trump's dick now. He's about to say that if it wasn't for Donald Trump, we couldn't get this done. I'm just making it. I'm just a guess. I saw a little gleam in his eye. When Pete Hegseth's ready to take a dick, you can see it in his eyes.
without the courageous leadership and ironclad determination of President Donald J.
Jesus Christ.
From the moment our airmen went down, President Trump made it clear we will leave no one behind. The first mission.
Cool. That's what every president ever has said. No president's like, fuck them. Fuck them. We'll just leave them behind. It's no big deal. It's literally what everybody says always. Why are they glurping this dude?
The first of two was an audacious daylight thunder run right up the middle. It was authorized in less than 2 hours from that pilot going down when we knew where he was. And it was authorized in the middle of the night because anybody that's worked for this man knows he's up in the middle of the night.
Yeah, he's a drug addict. Yeah, we know. Yeah, he was probably tweeting some racist shit in the middle of the night, and you guys interrupted him.
Authorized immediately, without hesitation, audaciously.
Yeah, because he was tweeting. Like, hey, we need to go get some. He said, fuck it, do it. Do your thing.
The second mission, as soon as we knew where that pilot was, and John was certainly helpful in that, also executed immediately. You know, I looked up at my screen when the final mission was complete inside our skiff, our secure facility. And we have a running VTC, a running coordination cell. And the top of it read 45 hours and 56 minutes. For 45 hours and 56 minutes, we held that call open for coordination. From the moment our pilots went down, our mission was unblinking. The call...
Wait, yeah, of course. We didn't make other calls. We didn't do other things. Cool. The bar here that they have set for themselves on what's incredible. We actually kept doing it. We didn't even stop doing it. We didn't make other calls. Didn't check the national champion or the March Madness scores. We kept the phone line open. It's crazy.
All never dropped. The meeting never stopped. The planning never ceased. The president demanded rapid, decisive action. He backed our military with the full weight of his resolve, refusing to let enemy propaganda or tactical setbacks deter us. His leadership ensured that every
I'm glad that their propaganda didn't keep you guys from doing a military mission. Thank God.
And non-lethal resource was brought to bear that our forces had the authorities and the support they needed to succeed. When the president says he has the backs of our warfighters...
Jesus was the pilot. He was shot down for our sins. No, Blue Chew. No.
He means it. And it means a great deal, and it's a big difference on the battlefield. President Trump understands that peace through strength is not a slogan. It
also doesn't work.
Doctrine that saves American lives.
Except for we've lost American lives. We were losing no American lives, and now we're losing American lives. So kind of the opposite, right?
Unwavering commitment to rebuilding our military and restoring the warrior spirit has paid dividends in missions just like this one. Under his command, America projects power with confidence and brings our people home with victory. And that continues today, by the way.
Tiffany said Pete's cosplay poetry sucks. Slam poetry. Tricia said both Japan and Germany spread propaganda about winning World War II up until the day that they announced the loss. That's true. The German people were very surprised. Like, wait, what? We were winning. How did we all of a sudden lose?
Per the president's direction, today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today.
Cool.
And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president does not play around.
He almost exclusively plays around.
You can ask Soleimani. You can ask Maduro.
Okay.
You can ask Khomeini. To those heroes who planned and executed these rescues, your nation stands in awe. I stand in awe. The chairman stands in awe. We all stand in awe of your professionalism and bravery.
Yeah, the soldiers are great. Shout out to the soldiers. Well done. I'm sorry that you have fucking dipshits putting your lives at risk for no fucking reason. But yeah, shout out to the soldiers who went in there and who were actually brave. Thanks for finally getting to that, Pete, after you slobbed Trump's knob for 20 fucking minutes. And I'm really looking forward to this one sentence you give to our soldiers.
We serve for you. You embody the very best of America. To the rescued airmen and their families, welcome home. Your courage and endurance, the quiet declaration of faith amid the storm inspires us all. God is good every day. And to our adversaries watching from Tehran, let this be a clear message.
Oh.
The United States military will go...
If you shoot down our planes, we'll come get them. Is that the message you're sending to Iran? They must be terrified. Honestly, this is a cool mission. I'm glad that the airman is safe. Great job to our troops. But like, you think this is frightening Iran right now? No.
Go anywhere, at any time, to protect our own and complete the mission. We execute with precision. We control the skies. You see, we flew for 7 hours in daylight over Iran to get the first pilot. And we flew 7 hours in the middle of the night to get the second. And Iran did nothing about it.
They shot your pilots down. They did the thing already. That's why you were there.
We fight with honor, and under President Trump's leadership, we win. So God bless our troops, God bless President Trump,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and God bless the United States of America.
All right, that's enough out of that. Good Lord. Cool. Let's get back to it. We're going to go from a military briefing back to what we were talking about here, which is Matthew Quinn. I'm going to move forward a little bit. He's the one of the top FEMA officials. He is Greg Phillips. What did I say his name was? He's the head of Office and Response and Recovery. And he has a pretty wild story that he's doubling down on now.
Way. Democratic lawmakers
Sorry, it's
have
quiet.
been raising concerns about those comments and about the FEMA official himself, Greg Phillips, after CNN's K-File reporting revealed, among other concerns,
This "My God is better than yours" crap is going to be really awkward when we lose this war. Yeah.
comments, this claim Phillips made on a podcast last year.
We had a teleport incident, 2 of them, which transported me about 40 miles from where I was and near Albany, Georgia, to the ditch of a church. I ended up at a Waffle House like 50 miles away from where I was. It was an incredibly frightening moment.
He teleported to a Waffle House, he says, and he's doubling down on this. And this is the guy in charge of FEMA's Office of Response and Recovery. Yeah, it sounds like a bad night. Exactly. Like, I wound up in a ditch, then a Waffle House 50 miles away. I must have teleported. Bitch, you were drinking.
To experience yourself in your car, flying through the air. It was possible. It was
Just Harry Potter out here with a flying car and teleporting.
Real.
Real.
K-File's Andrew Kaczynski broke the story. He's with us now. Andrew, what exactly is Phillips saying now, and how is he explaining these claims?
Brianna, Phillips is doubling down on his teleportation claims in a series of new social media posts over the last week. Phillips, who oversees the government's disaster response, is defending those remarks.
Your president and those around him chose this man to be in charge. I want to keep pointing that out there. Courtney said, don't gamble with this money. You got it, Court. I'll save it. I'll save it for when you're in Arizona. Amber said, how come they're extremely precise, except when it comes to killing little girls at school? I would argue that they might have been precise with that as well.
Saying they were part of a religious experience and citing...
Oh, sorry. Dolphin said, all I can do is apologize to everyone for mentioning this was on. Please forgive me, although you made it funny. I'm so very, very sorry. Thanks, Dolphin.
Examples in the Bible, while also accusing critics of taking them out of context. Haters gonna hate. That's what Phillips wrote in one of a handful of comments over the past month.
Bro claims teleportation or teleportation. How you say that? And then people are like, bro, that's weird. And he's like, oh, haters gonna hate. Okay. You're too old to say haters gonna hate anyways, but I think that's fair. I think it's fair for people to be critical that you didn't teleport to a Waffle House.
Not away from his claims, but defending them and doubling down. All of those coming in the days following CNN's reporting. On Truth Social, Phillips defended himself by writing in one post, I have no regrets for my words, nor my faith in my Savior, Jesus Christ. The Bible has many examples of the power of God.
Leave Jesus out of your shit, man. Leave him out. Leave him out, please. Jesus doesn't do teleportation. He didn't send you to a Waffle House. Leave Jesus out of your mess, bud.
In that same thread, he then shared a passage from the book of Acts describing the apostle Philip being, quote, snatched away by the Holy Spirit and appearing miles away. And when another user asked him directly if he had experienced something
and
like
here I was with sweet cream waffles.
that himself, Phillips responded yes, adding, quote, the Bible calls it transported or translated. That post has been deleted since our reporting. Now, we asked FEMA and Phillips which part was taken out of context, but we have yet to hear back. But Phillips did post a lengthy response to our story on Truth Social on Wednesday, writing that the podcast occurred while undergoing cancer treatment and, quote, the podcast at the center of this controversy was part of chronicling that journey. And during that journey, things happened that I can't explain.
Yeah, it could have been the poison in your body, chemotherapy, that was killing the cancer cells, and you may have been hallucinating. I wouldn't have doubled down on that, my friend. I've had some, when I got COVID, I had a fever for like 3 weeks. My dreams were fucking insane. For like 3 weeks, I couldn't, it was hard to even tell like when I was awake and when I was asleep sometimes. Yeah, dude, but I don't double down. I don't pretend that those were real.
This all comes after Phillips failed to appear at a House Homeland Security meeting last week where he had been scheduled to testify on the impact of the partial shutdown on DHS. That is the agency that oversees FEMA. Now, neither Phillips nor FEMA responded to CNN's question about why he didn't appear, but again, it occurred several days after CNN's reporting. Multiple Democratic lawmakers at that hearing saying that Phillips' past comments made him unfit to lead the Office of Response and Recovery, which sources have told us is one of the most consequential roles at the agency.
Republicans are going to vote to confirm him. This isn't a deal breaker for Republicans, which is crazy. Whoever messaged me before the live that said they've been listening to Johnny and a bunch of people have been coming up saying that they regret their vote for Trump. I think that that's true. Look at our opposition today. They are quiet, very quiet today. Swish said, Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate.
Pointing not only to his claims about teleportation, but his past violent rhetoric about former President Biden and inflammatory comments about migrants. Brianna?
I am FRCD said, faith, believe in something with no proof. Yeah, true. Good point. All right, I want to talk about what J.D. Vance is doing this week. J.D. Vance is ostensibly trying to position himself for a run for president. I saw a tweet that I don't know if it's true or not, and I couldn't find it, but I saw a tweet somewhere that like JD basically was like, yeah, I'd stopped being, I took Ozempic and grew a beard so that I would look better next to Gavin Newsom. I have no idea if that was real. It seemed fake to me, but here's JD Vance, who now is being given a new special assignment to go to Hungary and campaign for Viktor Orbán. And a lot of people are surprised by that, and you shouldn't be surprised by that. This was J.D. Vance in 2024 talking about what he admires so much about Viktor Orbán.
Successfully dealing with the left-wing domination of universities is Viktor Orbán's approach in Hungary. I think his way has to be the model for us, not to eliminate universities, but to give the choice between survival or taking a much less biased approach to teaching. He seized control of state universities and put them in foundations that were then run by his allies. Is that what you're advocating be done in the United States?
Well, Margaret, what you're seeing in the United States actually is that universities are controlled by left-wing foundations. They're not.
You know why? Because academia will always be left-wing. It will always be on the left because conservatism doesn't believe in change. Conservatism doesn't evolve. Without lefties, we would still think that the earth is flat. Some of us still do. Some dipshit motherfuckers still think that the earth is flat. We might still think that the sun is rotating around the earth. Might think that the moon is made of cheese. If conservatives were in charge of universities, we would all be much fucking dumber. When you start with the baseline that Jesus is in charge and everything is just part of his plan, then you don't learn science. You don't learn medicine. You don't learn math, because who the fuck cares, right? Like, it's all part of Jesus's plan. Ironically, what they're saying here is that left-wingers, left-wing ideologies are in the colleges. They kind of have captured the colleges. Yeah, because you guys don't care about academia. So what you're complaining about is that people are evolving. And so your solution to that is not to, by the way, conservatives, you fucking thin-skinned little bitches. Your solution should be make a better fucking argument. If your solution was to make a better fucking argument, we could live with it, but you can't make a better fucking argument. So what is your argument instead? It's not fair. It's not fair that people don't believe us, so we're going to use the whole weight of the government to force our position into schools. Make a good argument. This is the most like anti-American, anti-free speech approach you could take, and that's what JD Vance wants. That's what they all want. They all want you just sipping the Kool-Aid saying the exact same shit. And you can say that about academia on the left. Like, it's true. There is scientific consensus. So the scientists largely say the same thing until the science changes. And then they move on. And they change their opinion. Not conservatives. Conservatives just hold on to one ideology, and no matter the amount of science that is stacked up against it, they just call it biased. That's why so many of you dipshits still think that climate change is not a serious issue. Because you're literally like 30 years old on the data. There's not a single climate scientist who doesn't believe that the climate is changing and that human beings have an impact on that and that we need to make some changes. It's just the level of changes that we need to make. But it's just constant whining from your people. You're all intellectual laziness. We don't want to make a better argument. We'll just force the government to do what we want. So that's why they love Viktor Orbán. Viktor Orbán has done something that like most people refer to as like soft fascism, where he's come in and he's used the government to, tell me if this sounds right to you, to like force things like gender wars, attacks on LGBTQ people, force particular ideologies to be injected not only into the media but also into academia, suppressing voters. You know who they're blaming now? Viktor Orbán, he's been president of Hungary. He lost and he came back. He's always blamed immigrants. You know who they're blaming now for their problems? Ukrainian immigrants. It's the Ukrainians that are fleeing Ukraine because they're at war. It's actually their fault that ever since Viktor Orbán took over in Hungary, their country has gone to shit. And so JD Vance naturally loves him. And he's going to be now, this is from 2024, but now he's going to be sent out there to campaign. Our vice president is going to a different country to campaign for a candidate who is getting absolutely fucking crushed in the polls by somebody that's like in his own party.
Controlled by the American taxpayer, and yet the American taxpayer is sending hundreds of billions of dollars to these universities every single year.
I don't want taxpayers controlling education necessarily. Is that what you're...
You're out of your fucking mind if you think I ignored Genocide Joe's stupidity and dementia for the first 3 years of his presidency. We talked about the genocide. We talked about Joe Biden not being cognitively there. But what we saw out of Trump today, Joe Biden was never as bad as Donald Trump is now. Not even fucking close. Joe Biden struggled, but you knew what he was talking about. You have no fucking clue what Trump is talking about.
You're advocating for federal government.
Margaret, what I'm advocating for is for taxpayers to have a say in how their money is spent. Universities are part of a social contract in this country.
No, they're not.
They educate our children. They produce important intellectual property.
No, they don't educate our children. They educate adults.
They get a lot of money because of it. But if they're not educating our children well, and
they don't educate children,
they're layering the next generation down in mountains of student debt, then
they are not doing that. Whoever they take the loan from is doing that. But you could change that. Maybe you could change those things. Maybe you could do something about debt. Have you guys done anything about that? No, because all you care is about is culture wars. This is nonsense.
They're not meeting their end of the bargain. I think it's totally reasonable to say there needs to be a political solution to that problem.
Well, America's universities still attract talent from around the world.
What's their political solution? To force right-wing ideas? That's their political solution? That doesn't solve any of these problems.
You've went to one of America's very top schools.
Look, there's still good things about American universities, but it's going in the wrong direction, Margaret.
But Viktor Orbán in particular, as you know, I mean, he rewrote the Constitution, he neutered the courts, he has tried to control the media. These are not necessarily conservative principles. So why would you...
Oh, yes, they are. Because conservatives are just fascists now. They're just open about it. Shane said, just a reminder, Teleport dude said I wasn't qualified to be a recovery manager.
Want to mimic him.
Well, look, I'm not endorsing every single thing that Viktor Orbán has ever done. I don't know everything he's ever done. What I do think is on the university principle, the idea that taxpayers should have some influence in how their money is spent at these universities.
They do. We do have influence on that.
a totally reasonable thing, and I do think that he's made some smart decisions there that we could learn from the United States.
Well,
Yeah, we could learn about controlling narratives. We can learn about the government forcing certain narratives. All right, let's talk about Viktor Orbán. This is kind of a longer video, and we'll get to some Iran stuff, but want to learn about Viktor Orbán today. And just a reminder, guys, we are crowdfunded. You've done a great job helping us knock out that gift goal today. For some of you, this might be very boring, but the reason I want to show this video is because there's this group of fascist lights, soft fascists, and I mean soft fascists in a cruel way too. And this ideology that has shaped these soft fascists, and they're all backed by the same people. You know who else Viktor Orbán gets money from? The same oligarchs Trump gets money from. Tech guys are all behind that. How about Javier Milei? They're all backed by the same person, and what they want is they want full control, but they want to have like a facade of democracy. They all desperately want to be Vladimir Putin. That's all of their end goals, where you have this facade of democracy. Yeah, we have elections, but they all want to be Vladimir Putin. A lot of people have accused Viktor Orbán of being a Vladimir Putin puppet. Isn't that interesting? How come all of these like wannabe fascists all have connections to Vladimir Putin? How come nobody's upset at Vladimir Putin right now? Why isn't Trump going after Vladimir Putin for helping the Iranians? How come he's not going after Xi? MAGA, are you here? Can you explain to me why Trump isn't saying shit about Putin helping the Iranians right now? Is that what it was, Anthony? Our political solution to colleges was to open the southern border and use illegal immigrants to prop up a political party? Brother, get it together. If you're gonna use the same, like, you can't just use the same argument for everything. Just learn something new. We're talking about education, dummy. You want to explain that 3:30, Anthony? Why Trump won't criticize Vladimir Putin right now? I'll give you a chance. You're saying dumb shit right now. We're gonna give you a chance to stay on topic here. 330, Anthony. Why won't Trump criticize Vladimir Putin? If you answer anything other than about Vladimir Putin, you get a 5-minute mute. You don't get to criticize. You can talk shit about me after, but you have to answer this question. Why won't he? You got my attention. You did it. Let's talk about it, bud. Reminder for all of you as well, you can come up here and talk to me if you have any courage at all. You can just message JenDub1, that's JenNDUBB1, on Discord. She can bring you up. You can talk in person. You don't have to look like such a bitch. Trump just said he's going to run for president of Venezuela. Did he really? Jesus. Where are you, Anthony? All right. If anybody sees 330 Anthony, comment. We do this every day. If you're new here, welcome. It's good to have you. Our contention here is that most of the criticism that we get on this channel are bots. So we sometimes stop the show and ask specific questions. And every time we do that, the bot just goes away for a while. That's how we sort the bots from real people. So somebody wait on Anthony on that one. For anybody else who's asking me questions and begging for answers in the chat, I want you to know, once again, JenDub1 on Discord, you can come up and talk to me. I'm not going to debate you guys from the chat all day, but let's get back to Viktor Orbán, because this is, again, our vice president is using American resources and time to go to Hungary to campaign for this guy.
There is an election in Hungary on April the 12th. Viktor Orbán is behind by double-digit percentage points.
For more than a decade and a half, Viktor Orbán has outlasted almost everyone in European politics.
He's proven very adept at holding on to power, and he clearly has a great appetite for power.
But he and the Hungary he shaped are under pressure from stagnant growth, high inflation, mounting scandals, and now a formidable opponent.
Hungary's election is not just important for voters in Hungary, but also in Europe, the US, as well as in Russia.
Whoever is in power will have a very hard time over the coming years to address both societal, economic, and political concerns.
And what happens?
That's correct, J.S. Alberto. Don't be a bitch or you get muted. That's correct. You do have to follow the rules here. You can get your own show. You can have your own YouTube show if you want to debate people, or you can not be a bitch and you can figure out how to join the stream and you can use your words, but stop crying about it in the comments. If you don't like the rules here, go somewhere else.
In Hungary won't stay in Hungary. Inside Europe, it wields influence far beyond its size.
The loan remains blocked because one leader is not honoring his word.
So how did Orbán create one of Europe's most durable political machines? Why is it now under strain? And no matter who wins in April, why does Hungary's next move affect the rest of the world?
Is it Trump or Peter Thiel that sent J.D. Vance to Hungary? I think this was a Peter Thiel thing.
As a member of the European Union, even small countries can veto decisions of global significance, and Hungary is one of them.
Hungary's allies in both the EU and NATO have become used to Orbán opposing many of their joint initiatives.
Hungary plans to block every EU decision concerning Ukraine until oil starts flowing again through the Druzhba pipeline in Ukraine.
Hungary has dragged its feet at NATO's expansion when it took in eventually Finland as well as Sweden, but only after serious foot dragging from Orbán.
Very often it seems that the interest that the Hungarian government is trying to protect is that of Russia and sometimes maybe even China.
Including via doubling down on Russia.
I'm just saying, we all probably agree that like the opposition is China and Russia. We sure spend a lot of time going after countries like Venezuela and Iran and our NATO allies. So Donald Trump spends all of his time going after our allies. Isn't that exactly what a president would do if he was beholden to Vladimir Putin? He wouldn't openly say, I'm Team Putin, but all of his actions would be actions that Vladimir Putin would want him to take. I know you don't care. I know. Yeah. We love Putin too.
Russian energy contracts at a time when the EU is trying to tighten sanctions.
Much of that stance reflects the priorities of one man, Prime Minister Viktor Orbán, and his desire to move past the country's former Soviet occupation.
He has cultivated ties in Moscow, in Washington, and Beijing.
He also waded into US politics and endorsed Donald Trump during his first presidential campaign.
And Trump returned the favor recently, endorsing Orbán.
All the fascists endorse Trump. Vladimir Putin, Viktor Orbán, Javier Milei, all the Netanyahu, they all love him. All the fascists love Trump. Isn't that weird?
But that relationship is rooted in a system the Prime Minister began building years earlier. Orbán first won office in 1998 as the leader of the right-wing Fidesz party. He lost office in 2002, but not forever.
Orbán returned to power after 8 years in opposition in 2010.
He came back to power with a mission to institute regime change.
And to build what he later called an illiberal state, an ideology that stems from his disdain of liberal democracy.
Scratch, Leon.
Almost the very first thing he did was to pass a law changing the electoral system.
In effect, critics say, helping entrench Fidesz's advantage. And that was only the start. Orbán also pushed through a new constitution.
This included removing, effectively, the top Supreme Court justice.
He also managed to install his political loyalists in state institutions as well as the media.
Newspapers were taken over by his business allies.
Does that sound familiar? Businesses being taken over by the president's business allies? News organizations all being consolidated into the hands of Trump's allies? Like, just say that you're fascist. Just say it. Just say, I am a fascist. Stop, because this is where it makes you look silly. It makes you look really silly when you can draw the comparisons. You can see it happening in real time, and then you're like, no, this is actually not fascism. Just say it. You support it. You're fine with it. Just say it. Why are you so cowardly? Just say, yeah, I'm a fascist. I've been a fascist. We've always been a fascist. I don't like fascism if it's a leader that I don't like, but if it's one that I like, I'm okay being a fascist. Just say that. Stop pussyfooting around. I don't know why you're all so cowardly. Just say, I like fascism when it's Trump.
They actually just shut down.
That allowed him to essentially create a national echo chamber.
3:30 Anthony, you didn't answer the question. Mute 3:30 Anthony for 5 minutes. 3:30 Anthony, when you come back, you can only answer my question. And mod, whatever mods are on it, pay attention to 3:30 Anthony. It has to answer my question, otherwise no speaking.
Public media functions as a megaphone communication channel for the governing party.
It has that kind of sense of constantly cultivating images of an enemy or a threat from outside.
For years, that grip helped him control the political story, even as economic strains mounted. After returning to power on a wave of anger over the financial crisis, Orbán presided over years of...
Isn't it crazy how anger drives all of these people to? Like, look at the chat. It's anger that drives people to Trump. Like, that's why the policies that he puts out there don't matter. Like, once he's president and he does the exact opposite of what he said he was going to do, they don't care because it was always the anger and the fear that drove them.
Modest growth, rising wages, and new factory jobs. His government delivered tangible financial benefits to families. It's just that with a sputtering economy, these have become increasingly costly to sustain.
Economic growth and inflation have been really the twin problems of
You know who else, by the way, has been copying Hungary is Florida.
Orbán government. Hungary had the highest levels of inflation after the pandemic, and Hungarians had been really struggling to make ends meet over the past several years.
Adding to the pressure, since 2015, house prices in Hungary have more than tripled, outpacing the EU average and rising faster than incomes for many Hungarians. It's a far cry from the tailwinds Orbán enjoyed upon his return to office, following the initial challenge of overcoming the effects of the global financial crisis.
He was very lucky at the start. The world entered a period of low inflation and global growth, and then loads of European Union money flooded in. And critics say that actually a lot of that luck was wasted because it was plowed into kind of visible...
Right, thanks so much, OK Kristen. Dominating the TikTok gift goal.
Projects like, prettification of town squares, prestige building, and things like that.
Meanwhile, neighbours like Poland pulled ahead as Hungary lost momentum.
Whether it's income per capita or household spending or cancer survival rates or number of universities in the global top 1,000, and it's sort of now kind of at the back of the queue, whereas once...
Why do we think that America using these exact same policies won't fuck us? Why? What's different about Hungary? How did Hungary go from one of the promising countries in the EU to now the worst? Because they did this thing that they've tricked you all into, like where we give all the benefits to the rich people and we create policy that allows rich people to own everything. And eventually you get to a scenario where rich people are unwilling to circulate wealth, and it becomes a two-class system, the rich and the poor. And that's where we're headed. Every economic indicator says that's exactly where we're headed right now. I would say that there's probably between the TikTok here and Twitch, there's probably 1,800 people watching this live stream right now. I would venture that most of you financially are not in a better position than you were when Trump took over. Just statistically speaking, some of you will be, but most of you won't be, statistically speaking.
It was at the top.
Hungary was doing relatively well after its accession to the EU, but if we look at the trajectory, we see that the Hungarian economy is lagging behind, whereas Poland is taking off.
The government has had to retrench investments, including in public services, that were never really well funded to begin with. Orbán himself has had to pass an executive order to stock hospitals with toilet paper.
Now, big industrial bets were meant to restart growth and fix a lot of that, but so far they've fallen short.
Orbán has sought to position Hungary as a bridge between East and West, including economically, where, for example, Hungary serves as a hub for German car companies, especially during their transition to...
You notice that with America, too. As America tries to rebuild manufacturing, is it necessarily like American companies? No. Like, what was our big manufacturing plant that we were so proud of? It was Hyundai. They're not creating anything over there, so instead they have to create a manufacturing hub from other products or other countries' products. And the way that they do that is with tax incentives. We've stopped being innovative. We're innovative in essentially one thing right now, like computing. Everything else, we're lagging now.
The electric vehicle era. So he's brought in a lot of Asian, Chinese, South Korean battery makers in order to boost Hungary's economy.
It hasn't really delivered because the transition to electric vehicles has gone slightly more slowly than we expected, and because the German economy, on which Hungary relies for exports, is itself struggling. Then there were a series of scandals coming out of the battery factories relating to
Thanks, Kai Bear couple, catching up. Well done.
of toxic chemicals into the environment.
At the same time, anger grew over the widening gap between a well-connected elite and ordinary Hungarians.
Corruption has been one of the biggest problems under the Orbán administration. According to Transparency International, Hungary has plunged in rankings all the way to last place in
Nice. Congratulations, Burned Out Medics that missed half your show today. Here's my penance. Thank you. Another way to look at this is most corrupt. They've either plunged or they've risen to the top. It's depending on how you want to put that.
European Union.
Taken together, a stagnant economy, failing services, and deep corruption created a powder keg. That opening was seized by Peter Magyar, a former insider of Orbán's ruling elite.
It took an insider-turned critique to credibly deliver the message that the system is rotten.
Using the once marginal Tisza party as his vehicle, Magyar largely sidestepped Orbán's media machine.
He's visited almost every city, every hamlet. He's walked hundreds of kilometers to meet voters.
Now, his politics are different, but this is Mamdani. This is what America's going to turn to now. Somebody's got to step up and be this person, where they're seen as like advocating for the every person. If you trot out Gavin Newsom against whoever the Republicans run, it's not going to go well. He'll probably still win, but we're getting nothing. Zoran Mamdani has changed the game all over the world, and that people are recognizing that the way that you beat the elites and the way that you work around power is you go to the people. You find them where they are. You don't make them come to you.
Opposition party managed to not only win over the supporters of old opposition parties from the left and the liberals in the capital, but also build a strong base all over the country.
His appeal is simple. Keep what voters like, strip out the corruption, fix public services, and repair Hungary's relationship with the EU. Magyar must thread a very small needle, appealing to disillusioned Fidesz voters without alienating the centre.
If you thought Fidesz was the right kind of thing, then you probably are going to think his party, Tisza, is kind of okay as well. He is the main receptacle for just about anybody who wants to get rid of Orbán.
So faced with a real challenger, Orbán returned to a familiar playbook.
Can I briefly talk about how Florida is copying some of the things in Hungary? It sounds interesting. Yeah, Florida does a lot of like weird tax relief stuff where they'll cut taxes to incentivize like birth rates. They give people more child tax credits so that try and incentivize women to stay home. When they're talking about insurance, like Florida ran into a real problem where insurance providers were fleeing the state for home insurance because of the totally not real climate change. For sure, not real, but they started fleeing, and Florida had a problem because nobody could get homeowners insurance. So then Florida creates these state-run programs for insurance, but because they operate them like conservatives, they go bankrupt. They don't work. They're not willing to tax people enough to fund them appropriately. They set up a tax structure, and then the price of housing goes way up, and they never adjust that because they're afraid to ever raise anybody's taxes. So then they go, oh, look, government insurance doesn't work. And now Florida's stuck in this weird position where their government-run insurance isn't working, and insurance providers won't come to Florida. So it's kind of like this scenario where Ron DeSantis now has to figure out a way to tell people in Florida that we do sometimes have to raise taxes. Or we could stop giving handouts to billionaires and millionaires and rich people so that they can move to Florida and buy up the housing and not artificially, but drive up the cost of housing. So Florida's in a very similar situation where they're now starting to rack up a lot of troubling assets and troubling programs. And the only way forward for Florida is to tax people more. But Ron DeSantis can't say that.
Defining a new enemy.
The campaign strategy of Fidesz has been built on fear-mongering. It was before the center left and the liberal opposition, Brussels and EU institutions, George Soros, migrants, LGBTQ communities, and now it's the war.
Orbán has made Ukraine.
It's always a scapegoat. It's always anybody but the rich. It's always anybody but the elite. It's always poor people. It's always gay people. It's always communists or socialists. It's never the people who are in charge.
Essentially, the centerpiece of his campaign.
There are some really eye-catching posters up around the country. The message is that life in Hungary is tough, sure, but it could be so much worse. And these cheeky Ukrainians are prepared to risk all of that.
Orbán is also portraying himself as a strong leader who is taken seriously by global leaders, but it less and less resonates across the society. Even if Orbán, Fidesz, loses this election, it doesn't mean that Fidesz would lose power in the system.
He will still be the top of a party with immense power, lots of money, control of media assets.
I'm not mentioning that all these things in Florida happened under a Democrat president. None of that matters. Because these are Florida laws, you silly goose. And block 330 Anthony for the rest of the live. 330 Anthony, you can't be a bitch. You can't just be this kind of bitch. You've got to toughen up at some point. We will see you again tomorrow. Try again tomorrow. Okay? You'll come back tomorrow and answer some questions. But you're done. You can watch, I think, but you can't comment anymore today. Not until you learn to follow the rules.
A demonstrated will to power, essentially.
There are captured state institutions which could continue to represent Fidesz's interests and could significantly block the actions of a new government.
All right, we're going to cut it there. Anyways, just a little heads up and a reminder. Our vice president is using resources and time to go over to Hungary to campaign for that guy for some reason. You guys want to explain that? Please explain why that's important for us. All right. Let's go here. Somebody mentioned Tim Dillon earlier. I'm going to skip the executive order on mail-in voting. Just one thing. Trump wrote an executive order on mail-in voting. He's going to lose that battle in the Supreme Court. There's virtually no shot that the Supreme Court sides with him on that. You can look that up yourself, but it's not happening. I want to talk about Tim Dillon. Tim Dillon gets way too much praise. I do find a lot of Tim Dillon's commentary insightful. I think that he's well informed for a comedian podcaster. I'd like that he's willing to call out corruption. He doesn't seem to really care if it's somebody that he has at least been seen to support in the past, which is the case with Donald Trump. But I guess what I'm frustrated with is all of these people saying, we never saw it coming. I don't know how you could have listened to Donald Trump speak and not have seen this coming unless you, like most MAGA supporters, are like, I'm just not taking anything he says seriously. I choose to interpret what he's saying as what I want it to be and not what he's actually saying. Because he basically told you he was going to do all of this. And then we would cover it, and then MAGA supporters would be like, nah, he's not going to do that. He's definitely, and then now he's doing it.
As an America first, and you're going to take care of America, and then turn around and go, all of these things, daycare, Medicare, Medicaid, we have nothing to do with that. We're fighting wars. That's what we're here to do. We're here to have a defense budget of $1.5 trillion, and we're here to fight wars. It is the greatest scam in history. You got to hand it to him. And I mean, truly, and not in, again, not in a moral way, but like, you got to hand it to him. This is the greatest about face in political history that I have really ever seen. It is the greatest scam. It has taken in people I believe J.D. Vance, when he came on my show and said, we want to stay out of Middle Eastern wars, Donald Trump's first term did not have real, I mean, he killed.
What you need to take from that is that you can never trust a Republican ever. Ever. They don't have morals. They don't have a coherent ideology. Everything is about power. Everything is about money. And I'm not saying that you should trust Democrats because, look, I mean, what's Chuck Schumer done? Chuck Schumer has done nothing but disappoint and lie forever. But when these were very specific promises they were making, these were very specific attacks they were making on Joe Biden and Harris, and some of them were fair. But you can't be the person who sits there and watches J.D. Vance and Donald Trump take these, make these attacks on Harris and Biden, and then once they're in office, they do the exact opposite, and then you still support them. Then we can't take you seriously. Then we think you're just like them. And that's the thing. Like, we're not here to ever defend politicians. But I am concerned about you. I am concerned about, like, I can't, a politician, if they run on something and then they do the exact opposite, that person will get my criticism and they will lose my support. We're going to have John Fetterman clips here a little bit later. What is it about Donald Trump that has you so wrapped around his finger that he can tell you one thing, do the exact opposite, and the only time you ever get mad is at the people that point out that he's doing the opposite of what you said? Those are the only people you're ever mad at. You're never upset with him. It's always the messenger that makes you mad. And I just, for the life of me, can't understand how your brains even function. How does this work?
Qasim Soleimani, I'm mispronouncing that, whatever. But he was not running all over the world and doing this.
Sorry, it's me, my putz. No, Democrats and Republicans are the same in that they overpromise and underdeliver. I'm not going to not criticize Democrats because I think Republicans are worse. That doesn't do any good, right? Like, if Donald Trump was out of office and, or let's say Mike Johnson lost the speakership and the Democrats got the Senate and the House, what would change? Not much. Like, midterms are coming up. The Republicans are probably going to lose the House and the Senate. What's really going to change? They're going to impeach Trump. Are they going to have the votes to get him removed? Probably not. Do you see any Democratic leadership, people with real ability to make change? Do you see any of the leadership talking about any substantive change? Like, I agree with you. Democrats are slightly better than Republicans, but only because they criticize like some of the shit that Trump's doing. I don't think they're going to step in and fix these problems. What are they going to do? Leave taxes exactly the same like they did under Biden? Invest some money in infrastructure and programs rather than some of the places where Trump puts the money? Yeah, it'll be marginally better. But I don't think people deserve praise for being marginally better.
There's a lot of things about Trump's first term to criticize, but he was not doing this. So this is surprising to a lot of people. And by the way, it's surprising to me. And there's a lot of people, and I know everyone's going to act like they're not surprised. I knew he was going to invade Iran. Nick Fuentes did. He's like the only one that did. So,
except for all Democrats. Isn't that sad that every Republican was duped by Trump except for Nick Fuentes? That's his argument here. All of us didn't believe Trump except for Nick Fuentes. Congrats, guys. Like, your best and brightest is legitimately a Nazi. Everybody over here knew what he was going to do. You know why we knew he was going to do it? Because he kept fucking saying it, and they wrote it down. They had Project 2025. It was written down. You could read it. You could go online and read it, and we were reading it, and you guys were like, no, not real, not real. None of us were surprised, but republicanism, conservatism before anything is just lazy. You are all very, very lazy thinkers. You speak in catchphrases. You operate in whataboutism. There is no free thinking. There's no independent thinking. There's no critical analysis. It is simply own the libs, bumper sticker slogans, and trolling. And that's because the leader of your party is legitimately an internet troll. That's how he got to where he's at politically, by being an internet troll. So nobody should be surprised that the entire party has adopted that and you're all just internet trolls.
That kid is the only one who really called that this guy was going to go into Iran. If you had said to me, is this guy going to launch a preemptive war in Iran? I would have said no. I remember being on the phone with Barry Weiss the day he won. I was in Miami and I was on the beach.
Brandon, I think that's the fetus. We all might as well give up if it's not going to get better. Demand better. That's the thing. Like, the United States can get better. It's not going to get any better by slapping the ass of moderate Democrats. I think that we have a real opportunity to make substantial change in this country. But it's not going to be through Hakeem Jeffries. It's not going to be by like pretending that he's going to do something different. I mean, we've told you this story before, but like I was on a call with Democrats and they were trying to get us. They're like, we need to talk about affordability. We really need to hype that up. Yeah, you guys as content creators need to go out there and tell people that the Democrats are going to that they are going to deliver on affordability. And it was me and Fax. We were like, with what plan? Could you tell us your fucking plan first? Because it sounds like your plan to deliver on affordability is to impeach Donald Trump. There is no plan there. So is the midterms going to fix everything? No, it's definitely not. It's going to take winning the midterms and then forcing policy. It's going to take like the No Kings protests. Cool. I love them. I think they're very important. The energy that we have, that we direct at Donald Trump, as soon as he no longer controls Congress, that energy needs to shift. And that energy needs to be directed at Democrats. Because once they have that control, then they need to be criticized repeatedly. And you'll see, like, if they take the House and the Senate, this show is going to take a turn. This show is going to change our view, and we're going to start criticizing Democrats over and over and over again. I'm not going to sit here and do what these MAGA dipshits have done for the entire Trump administration, where like every time something goes wrong, they just still blame Joe Biden. Like if we're talking foreign policy, if we're talking about decisions when it comes to invading other countries, that's still going to be Trump. If we're going to talk about unconstitutional executive orders or government overreach from the executive branch, that's still going to be a direction. But I'm not going to sit here and carry water and pretend that Democrats are doing something when they're doing nothing. They don't do anything. And that's the saddest part about America, is that the Democrats are only marginally better than the Republicans because they don't do anything. They could do something and make like this gap between them where people are like, oh shit, there's like a real divide. But you go ask any American on the street, like, what's the main difference between Democrats and Republicans? Most of them are going to say it's basically the same, but like Republicans are anti-woke. Or that Democrats are woke, depending on who you're talking to. But other than that, it's essentially the same. So yeah, like if you want things to get better, you have to not be like MAGA. Sycophancy needs to be gone. And that's a good thing. Like and it would be a good thing for the country. It would be a good thing for MAGA to see progressives turn on moderate Democrats. It would be a good, like, they'll join you. You want to win that messaging battle? Prove that you're willing to criticize the people that you voted for. And that's like, so we will make that shift. And I hope that we don't lose too many of you, but that's where it's going to go.
And I called her and we chatted briefly.
Sweet Caroline, what do you mean that's how we lose? That's crazy. You're saying that we will lose elections if we try to get better? That's crazy. When you get your ballot, you vote for the best person on that ballot. And some of those are going to be hold your nose and vote situations. But once you win, you hold them accountable. You don't sit around and let them dictate what they're doing. This is a representative democracy. They represent you, not the other way around. We shouldn't be cheerleading or carrying water for these people. It's their job to respond to us. And look what happens when you get somebody who's responsive to the people. You get good things. The people in New York that voted for Mamdani, they are thrilled with what Mamdani's doing. Let's not do that thing. Let's not do that, like, let's get scared about losing if we criticize our party. That's silly. I fucking hate the Democrats, and I vote for them every time. Every time. You can still you still are left with what's on your ballot. But the voice has to change. Like you can't be like, "Oh, thank God we did it. Let's sit back and rest now." If you want real change. Now, if all you want was Donald Trump gone and that's what you're voting for, fine. But if you want like substantive change, then you're going to have to pressure Democrats because lobbyists still exist. Citizens United still exist. The wealthy are paying the Democrats. AIPAC still exists. That won't go away because Donald Trump is gone. It's just that the spotlight will then be on Democrats. And if we then have Chuck Schumer or Hakeem Jeffries taking J Street money or AIPAC money, and we're like, well, it's different because Trump was worse, like we're just going to lose. You're gonna lose any sort of like progressive chance. You have to force them left because they won't go left. All the money that they're getting is keeping them in the middle. The only thing they're more afraid of than losing that money is losing the power. So you have to force them with your voice, and you have to. We have to threaten to primary people. Got to run out people like Fetterman. Got to run out people like Hakeem Jeffries. Got to run out people like Chuck Schumer. Got to run out. What is her name? Not Stefanik. What's the CIA girl's name? Lady's name. Not Stefanik. Who's the left's version of Stefanik? Somebody help me with that name.
It was just a very nice conversation. I said, "What's this guy going to do?" And she said, "I think he's going to get rid of the DEI."
Slotkin. Well done. See how good that was? Yeah. Slotkin just is Elise Stefanik. Just a little smarter.
Shit, which we all thought was stupid. And, he's going to get rid of the DEI stuff. And he's going to restore some sense.
Let me help you with this. The anti-king people want to force you. No, dummy. We want to force them. That's what democracy is. That's what a representative democracy is. You force the people who represent you to represent you. What are you talking? Are you upset about that? I can't believe these liberals want to force their politicians to do good things. It should be the other way, where we're forced to defend them. I know that that's weird for you, James. I know you're like, I just do what Donald Trump says. But yeah, that's what you have to do. You have to force their hand.
Of sanity to a lot of like Biden era DEI, that is totally was pushing everyone in this country to the political extremes. And he was going to get the economy going, and he was going to try to tackle inflation to some degree. And he was going to, was the thought. And I mean, now Barry might have known.
In hindsight, isn't it incredibly stupid to you MAGA people that you cared about DEI? It wasn't affecting you. Nothing really has changed. You obsessed over DEI, and now all your shit's more expensive, and we're at war for no fucking reason. Like, well, at least my life's not getting hurt by DEI now.
There was another plan. She didn't share it with me. She might have known. And I was sitting there in Miami on the phone going, well, yeah, if he does that stuff, great. I said to her, what do you think about gay marriage or this or that? She goes, no, I don't think he's going to I don't think he's going to roll back a lot of that stuff. I think he's going to go after the economy. He's going to go after the DEI stuff. He's probably going to pull a lot of the money out of Ukraine and cut some deal. And she said, he supports Israel. He's going to support Israel. And I said, okay,
Okay, they were doing a genocide while that happened. This is interesting from Tim Dillon here, because Tim Dillon has been very critical about the Israelis performing a genocide. They were doing that when Trump was elected.
At that point, I was, that was kind of expected. And I said to her, I was like, you think he's going to get a deal done in the Middle East? And she goes, yeah, because that's what he campaigned on. We get a deal done in the Middle East. But I did not think, truly, that somehow he was going to launch a preemptive war in Iran. And then I didn't think we would be kind of
We did. How'd you guys miss that? You didn't see him pull us out of the Iranian nuclear agreement? You didn't see Iran immediately start enriching their uranium and building up their weapon stockpiles? Did you miss all of that?
Losing it. By the way, drag me all.
Please stop using the juvenile, vulgar, offensive F word. I'll stop saying fuck when Trump stops saying fuck. Criticize Trump for saying fuck 33 Pioline. Criticize him real quick.
You want, for not being omniscient or not being clairvoyant. I had no idea. I had no clue that Iran was going to be able to blow military bases off the Earth, and we weren't going to defend them. I didn't know that our Gulf allies were going to get attacked and we weren't really going to be able to do that much about it.
Trump just called Biden the R word twice. Good for, yeah. It's pretty awesome for Trump to say, given the press conference he just gave.
I had no idea that this was going to go this poor. Even his detractors were like, "What?"
All right, we're gonna end it there. Anyway, I'm baffled by these right wingers. Like, oh, I didn't even see this coming. And I don't know if Tim Dillon's a right winger. I appreciate actually some of his coverage. I don't hate Tim Dillon, but I was just it was alarming that like now that they can look back with 2020 vision, you can't say now like, oh, I should have seen it. It's like we should have seen this coming. We should have just listened to the words that he said or that he was saying, and then believed what he was saying. That's a good point. Yeah, Queens. He did just tweet. Trump says fuck. I don't know why people are so offended by cursing, and I apologize. I'm trying to curse a little bit less. All right. Moving on. Just a reminder, we are crowdfunded. We got what about an hour left. We're almost done with that gift goal. But we are entirely crowdfunded by you. Oh shit! Announcement. Actually, I forgot about this. Tonight, for our paid members, we have a movie night. If you're not a paid member, you can become a paid member either on TikTok, YouTube, or Twitch, and you can join us in Discord for a movie night. We took a poll this morning, and we're going to announce the poll, or the results of the poll. Let me get this real quick, see where we're at. I chose a handful of movies that were suggested, and we had a poll. The movie night options for tonight were Don't Look Up, War Dogs, Year One, Fire, The Greatest Festival That Never Happened, and Cover Up. And the runaway winner is Don't Look Up, which we'll be watching tonight, which is a very long movie. Sorry for those friends of ours on the East Coast. I was secretly rooting for Fire, The Greatest Festival That Never Happened, or Year One. Year One is severely underrated. The 55 votes. If you're in the Discord, you can go into announcements and do that. If we change the vote, right now it's looking like Don't Look Up. We will check the votes at the end of the live to make sure that's it. But that's going to start at, is it 5 Pacific, Jen? When do we start that? I'm just going to actually go, and I'm just going to say 5:30 Pacific.
Yeah, 5.
5? Okay, 5 Pacific. Well, all right, 5 Pacific tonight. We'll start that so our East Coasters can be there with us. But again, it helps us a great deal if you are a paid subscriber. So if you want to join us for these member-only events, make sure you're subscribed on either YouTube, Twitch, or TikTok, and then join the Discord. And you can message Jen if you need help getting your account right so that you can join us for that. And then Wednesday, we'll be doing, I'm going to be debating on TikTok with Ash. And we may, if I can figure out how to get this to work, we may on YouTube turn that into and Twitch turn that into a members only event. So that way we can not deal with MAGA trolls while we're doing that. So if I can figure out how to do it on YouTube and Twitch, that'll be members only. Jen, I actually have to pee, Jen. Jen, can you talk to the people for a second so I go pee? Maybe. We'll watch the Fire Festival one another time. I love that.
Yeah.
All right. I'll be right back.
Go potty. Don't forget to wash your hands.
Talk to me like a
Hi, chat. Let's see if he washes his hands. Sometimes that's I mean, he's usually pretty good about washing his hands. So yeah. So later on, if you're not already a paid member, please download. It's pretty fun to watch videos and movies and stuff like that. So if you're not a paid member, you should be able to join us later on tonight. So let's see. We're about, he hasn't updated the gift goal total, so we're like 125 left for the goal. So if you guys want to knock that out, that would be cool. I think he's talking about that minimum Ash or what? What's your username? Men's Tears. Casey? What's your username? Or Ash, are you here somewhere? I don't remember what her TikTok username is, but she does a lot of feminist debates or abortion debates, stuff like that. So I'm just talking about going with her before he bans us. Ask me anything. Did you wash your hands?
No, I would never do that. It's disgusting.
Gross.
Yeah.
So it's Ash Me Anything is her username. But yeah. All right.
Oh, you're talking to yeah. That's probably what
I
it
was
is.
just bullshitting. So.
Okay. Awesome. let's go there. I'm going to skip that stuff. We only have an hour. All right, let's talk about Iran. Let's start off with Bill Maher. Bill Maher had on Josh Shapiro, who is running probably for president. He's currently up for re-election for governor in Pennsylvania. A lot of people like Josh Shapiro. I'm not necessarily one of those people. Here's what I have a problem with Josh Shapiro and Democrats in general. In an effort consistently to try and play middle ground and to try and get crossover appeal, they often allow idiots like Bill Maher to say things unchecked that should absolutely go, should be checked. And this is one of those examples.
Your fellow Pennsylvanian, John Fetterman, he's one of the few people in the party who has come out and said, look, I don't understand that everybody in my party said we can't allow Iran to have nuclear weapons, and yet when we do something about it, they're against it. Now, our chief negotiator said they were talking to Iran up until the war started. He said their opening salvo was at the negotiations. We're a couple of weeks away from having 11 bombs. They were bragging about it. If you were the president...
Says who? Josh Shapiro. Step in here. Where does that come from? That the Iranians were bragging that they were a couple weeks away from having 11 nuclear bombs. Can we get a source there? Where's the pushback from Shapiro? One of two things is true. Either Shapiro doesn't mind, because maybe he's more aligned with AIPAC, or he doesn't know that that's entirely unconfirmed. This is a weird position for somebody running, disqualifying. If you don't know that this is entirely unconfirmed, and in fact refuted by Iran, and you're not at least going to put that out there, I don't think you're qualified to be president.
And you got that information. You'd still do nothing?
I never said...
I'm asking.
No, what I would do, and what the president of the United States failed to do, was be clear with the American people about what the hell we were doing here. Was the plan to go after the nuclear weapons? The weapons, by the way, he said were destroyed 7 months ago, pardon me. Was the plan to go and do regime change, in which case, who the hell is going to take over? I don't think the son's any better than the father. Was the plan to go in there later, but then you got forced because Netanyahu forced your hand? Remember they said that?
So
and
it's a matter of clarity.
Walked that back. I think if you don't have clarity on why you're going in, you have no way of knowing how the hell to get out. And so we are in a situation now where we have a commander-in-chief.
Robert, I agree with you. I'm not significant enough to answer that question. I don't have the inside scoop. Who does? And why are you so willing to just believe it when you don't know either? So somebody's got to show us some evidence of that.
And his sidekick, Pete Hegseth, who are acting like a bunch of 8-year-olds playing with toy soldiers. We've lost 13 American soldiers.
Is that true that Shapiro was an IDF volunteer?
War that the American people...
I didn't know that.
By the way, most of the global community has no idea why the hell we went there in the first place. And the President of the United States, our commander...
we have an idea, Josh. We have an idea. And it involves Benjamin Netanyahu. That's why we think we're there. If I were you, I would float that idea if you think that you're going to get the presidential nomination. This is one of those places that I was talking about earlier with Democrats. Everybody thinks it was Israel. Everybody. Nobody gives a fuck about AIPAC. Why are they so careful blaming Israel? Because Israel lines their pockets. AIPAC lines their pockets. You can't be wishy-washy on this and win the DNC nomination. This is a miscalculation by all of these people that are running. You cannot be a Israel fence sitter and win the Democratic nomination. It's just not going to happen.
Well, I think they have an idea.
Owes us an answer.
I think people have an idea.
What was the reason we went in?
Well, everything you said. The nukes, regime change, and just to reshuffle the deck in the Middle East. That nothing was ever really going to get better there until that regime went away. But we'll
or if like Israel stopped attacking people, or if we stopped doing regime change war all through the Middle East. But yeah, for sure, it's just Iran. Iran's the only one that has destabilized anything in the Middle East. Cam said, so when are you going to get on camera with a Stafford jersey to go with your Rams hat? Also, have you seen the Tim Dillon clip regarding Noam asking for prayers? Never, and no.
We'll see what happens.
No, but by the way, understand. I want to be clear because I've heard your commentary on this. I'm not saying the Ayatollah is a good person. They chanted for 5 decades, death to America.
Who fucking cares? This is the dumbest. This is why I fucking hate politicians. Shut the fuck up about this. Drop this fucking talking point. This is so fucking stupid.
They chanted death to America for 50 years.
No, they didn't. They sometimes said it. They weren't doing it the whole time. Who fucking cares? Did they do it? No. Stop justifying war for what people said. This is such a dumb fucking talking point. And draw a line between you and the dipshit Republicans. Goddamn, Josh Shapiro, for a smart guy with political chops, you sure don't seem to have your pulse on what the American people think right now, because the overwhelming majority of American people don't think someone chanting death to America means that we should blow up their whole fucking country.
These are people who blew up and killed Americans. These are not bad. These are not good people. And I am not shedding a tear for them being killed. What I am saying to you, though, is if you're the commander in chief, you have a responsibility to the people you send in harm's way. You have a responsibility to the American people to explain why it is you're doing what you're doing and how the hell you get out of it once the mission is accomplished. The president has yet to look the American people in the eye and explain that. And that is a failure of leadership.
Thank you, Governor. I appreciate you coming by.
I mean, my daughter's 6 years old. I tell her all the time that I'm gonna take away her toys or not let her do something, and she knows I'm bluffing. She knows it. She's 6. She's figured this out. 45 years of them chanting it and not doing anything about it, just always in response to us invading some country in the Middle East, and we're like, "Oh, this was totally a problem." Here was one other part. This is the other part I'm just frustrated with. I want to know what the fuck they're talking about here. I'd really like them to start naming some names, and we're going to get some names. But this, another deeply unpopular position.
But here's the question I have to ask you, which is something I would have never guessed I would be asking a Democrat in this year, which is that you're a Democrat running possibly for the nomination.
For re-election as governor of Pennsylvania.
And you're Jewish.
Yeah.
And this is somehow maybe a complete deal breaker in the Democratic Party. I mean,
no! Nobody fucking cares if you're Jewish. They care if you're a Zionist. How's everybody, these guys are so fucking far out of touch. The overwhelming majority of Jewish voters in the United States don't agree with Zionism. Stop putting the two together. And Josh Shapiro, find a fucking spine, man. Is it just that fun to be a victim for Bill Maher and Josh Shapiro here? Nobody cares. No, you're not going to lose your spot in Congress if you are Jewish. You're going to lose your spot in Congress, or you may lose your spot on a presidential ticket if you support Netanyahu. Nobody cares if you're Jewish. This isn't a real thing. There's not that many groups in this country that hate people for being Jewish, and you might have some. You're probably going to have some radical Islamists who are or Islamists who are we don't like any other religion. We don't like the Jews. We don't like the Christians. You're obviously going to have the white nationalists and the Nazis, but for the most part, the overwhelming majority of Americans are just hey, we don't really want to be beholden to Netanyahu and the Israeli government. We don't Zionism is fascism. We're not fans of that. The anti-Semitism here, when they draw the anti-Semitism argument here, and Bill Maher is so poorly educated on this. What percentage of Jewish voters in New York voted for Mamdani? It was a significant majority. I don't remember what the number is. Where's a place where Jewish people aren't voting for people who are anti-Zionist?
The speed at which anti-Semitism has gone to a place where I never imagined it would go.
Yeah.
I mean, just this past week, bombings at synagogues in Toronto.
All right. Who did the synagogue bombing in Toronto? Let's look at this. Does anybody know off the top of their head? Struck by gunfire. Toronto police, New York police are investigating the shootings. Do anybody know? Ban Rusty Bridges. Thanks, Rusty. I don't see anything on who this is.
Yeah. Belgium, Michigan, the guy drove a truck with explosive into the largest synagogue in West Bloomfield.
Wasn't that a let's see. I actually want to make sure. Yeah, Hezbollah inspired, so that wouldn't be an act of like left like democratic like
Norway, they arrested someone suspicious behavior outside a synagogue. Rotterdam, in the Netherlands.
Yeah, all extremists are bad. Yeah, thank you, Amy Lynn. Exactly.
Synagogue. I see a pattern here.
Yeah.
And
what pattern do you see, Bill?
Somehow it got to among the young people. Anti-Semitism got to be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the Nazis though. That's not on the left. Why are you talking to Josh Shapiro about this? Like this would be a problem for Josh Shapiro's base. Josh Shapiro being Jewish is not going to hurt him.
You think you could, if you did run for president, you could fight this and convince the Democratic Party that being Jewish isn't like the worst thing a person could be now?
Anti-Semitism is a real problem in this country. And unfortunately, one of the things that has seemingly united the extremes of both parties is a pervasive sense of anti-Semitism.
Where is the extreme left? Who the fuck is he talking about? Where is this extreme left, like Democrat? Because he's saying parties, right? What's this extreme wing of the Democratic Party that is anti-Semitic? Can somebody point to a name, a group? I have no idea what they're talking about here. I'm extreme. Well, okay, I appreciate that, Mondopara. I think a lot of people would view me as extreme left. I agree, but I'm not anti-Semitic. Who are these? Who's this anti-Semitic extreme left that they're referencing over and over and over again? Hassan, yeah, we'll get to that in a second. I don't like that I have to cover Hassan, but we're going to get there.
And bigotry and hatred toward Jews. And I think all leaders, Democrat and Republican, have a responsibility to call it out, to speak and act with moral clarity. There are seeds of anti-Semitism being planted all over this country. People are being platformed. Folks are looking the other way and nodding toward it and allowing it to happen.
Yeah, the right keeps platforming actual Nazis. I don't like, how are you both sidesing this? Even if you want to say Hassan, like Hassan versus Nick Fuentes, it's the same level of anti-Semitism?
In their businesses, on their screens, and in their politics.
Good question. Rongo, did you forget about the Dems in colleges raging against Jews? No, I didn't forget about it. That doesn't happen. That's not a real thing. Supporting the Palestinians has been viewed as anti-Semitic. Being anti-genocide is being labeled as anti-Semitic. Give me an example, please. Give me an example of extremist Democrats at colleges raging against Jews. I don't know any of these people. I haven't seen any of this. I've seen anti-Semitism coming from like groups that probably are like communists, but that they're not Democrat. They hate the Democrats. They hated Joe Biden. I have no idea who they're talking about here. Clownmeat said, I said, hey, at suck a wrong time. Hello, everyone. Or such a wrong time. Oh, hey, there we go.
And we have to speak up about it.
Damien said 420 dues. Thank you, Damien.
I don't care if it's coming from people in your own party, people you agree with, people you need to vote for you. You gotta call it out. We cannot let this in our country continue the way it is.
Okay. Cool. Still don't know what you're talking about. Still have no clue who you're referencing here on the left. You guys want to give me names? I do see a lot of you being frustrated with me, saying, oh, this is crazy. Do you want to give me some names? Just give me like a prominent anti-Semite. How many anti-Semites could I name on your side of the aisle? Tons. Name one. Like, what about Myron Gaines? What's that UFC fighter's name? Whatever his name is. Retired one. Jake Shields. Nick Fuentes. Can you name one? I'd like to know. I would legitimately like to know. You mean the college protests that were what college protest was anti-Semitic? They were blocking everybody from attending their classes. They weren't just blocking Jewish people from attending classes. If they were, I would say that would be anti-Semitic, and I would condemn that. I don't know what you're referencing. But then, once we see that, then we've got to say, who are these people that are blocking Jewish people from attending their classes? Are they Democrats? Are they voters here? Is that who is that who Josh Shapiro's talking about? But like prominent, you're talking about unnamed college students, and we're comparing that to literally your biggest content creators, Candace Owens. You don't have names? You can't give me one name? I'm looking here. Good day from Maine. Good day. Maine's not real. All right. Let's go on further, because here's obviously who they're talking about, and here's John fucking Fetterman. John Fetterman is the most... the problem with John Fetterman being obviously bought and paid for is that John Fetterman's also pretty stupid. And so he's not great with his words. So it's pretty hard for him to hide the fact that he has no real fucking arguments and that he's just a paid shill from AIPAC. But here he is going to bring up the name that everybody's talking about now. You brushed Hassan aside. No, we're going to talk about Hassan.
I always agreed. I'm going to follow what I think is right. Now, for me, every single Democrat should be fully supportive of Israel. That's the one nation in the region that has the kinds of values and then the kinds of
Is genocide a liberal value now, Fetterman? Carlton said Fox News has a 34% decline in 25 to 54, 21% overall. I know that.
Of communities within that, whether like, for example, the whole Queers for Palestine people, parts of it, it's crazy.
What's wrong with that? Can you give us some? What do you mean Queers for Palestine? What's crazy about that? Marginalized people standing in support of people who are being genocided? What are these arguments by Fetterman here? Is that just homophobia? What was that?
Whole Queers for Palestine people, parts of it, it's crazy. Israel, they have a democratic leader there. That's the democracy in the region. They have the kind of values that we all live in, the way we want, in our country.
So since they were democratically elected, supported genocide. Got it.
And now more and more of them are becoming, openly hostile to Israel.
Yeah.
And now they are making choices to vote against defensive things like Iron Dome.
Yeah.
Because Hezbollah or these other nations are going to fire missiles at civilians. That's part.
What do you want me to look up with UCLA? Okay, so UCLA, that's where the protests were? What am I looking? Blocks Jewish students? I told you I didn't know, and I'd be happy to condemn it. Let's see. UCLA reached a $6.13 million settlement in July 2025 following lawsuits alleging the university allowed pro-Palestinian protesters to create a Jew exclusion zones during the 2024 protests. Protesters blocked Jewish students from accessing classes, the library, and parts of the campus, leading to federal court orders requiring equal access. Was it only Jewish people that couldn't go? During spring 2024 protesters restricted access to main campus areas, requiring wristbands to enter. Oh, it was that lockdown one. Oh, okay. Yeah, I condemn that. That's bad. Yeah. There we go. See how easy that is? They shouldn't have done that. Now, is that broadly like what the left stands for? Are these like prominent Democrats? No. Yeah, I think that was a dumb thing that they did. I'm glad that UCLA got sued. It's not hard. Let's keep going.
Part of where our party's becoming, and now they are celebrating someone like Hassan Piker that's proud to be a raging anti-Semite.
Yeah. An anti-Semite. What is anti-Semitic about Hassan? We're going to try and pull some clips. If you guys want to let me know what I should search that is anti-Semitic from Hassan. I don't watch Hassan. I've seen clips of him. I'm not like a regular watcher of anybody, but somebody want to explain it?
Yeah, he's a raging lunatic, in my humble opinion, as well.
You're very humble.
And, I want to thank you for your courage. Not that I always agree with you, but I certainly don't always disagree with you. And you take these things on and you explain yourself, and that is the tradition.
He didn't explain himself. He just said anybody who doesn't support Israel is anti-Semitic. He did the thing. You're not supposed to say that. You're supposed to make a better argument, but he's like too dumb to even make an argument. If you don't support Israel because they have democracy, then you are anti-Semitic. Oh, okay.
Of America, and that's really a good thing. And I want to thank you, Senator, and God bless you for representing Pennsylvania very well.
Oh, thank you for having me on.
Great. So there was Fetterman. And yeah, this is just crazy to me. Jake Tapper did this whole segment. I mean, I can only imagine that this is happening on CNN because of their buyout that's coming now, like their new ownership, who are clearly Zionist. This is a streamer. Hassan is a streamer, and it would be one thing if Hassan was a more problematic streamer. But have they ever done an 8-minute segment on Nick Fuentes, Candace Owens? 8-minute segment on Hassan on CNN, just a complete smear. So let's see what they had to say.
Politics lead now. Now, Hassan Piker might not be a household name, at least among adults, but ask your kids. His new role as a midterm surrogate for some Democrats is proof that his political influence is expanding far beyond the streaming platform Twitch, where he has taken up residence. He is, without question, an online influencer with nearly 3 million followers. His rise as a prominent voice.
Robert, instead of just generically saying, I can't be this stupid, can you just cite some examples one time, bud? Just one time. Can any of you guys cite examples so we can look it up? Look what happened, Robert, when you cited an example. You and I agreed on that. Do you see how fucking easy this is? Just give me some examples.
On the left is now driving a wedge between Democrats, and for good reason. Hassan Piker's past and present is checkered with controversial, if not outrageous, if not bigoted state comments.
This is probably going to take up the rest. Alfredo, thanks for joining the Dollar Train. Said, why are so many inarticulate politicians? Why so many inarticulate politicians these days? Sorry. Writing was small there, and I think I got that. We got about 30 minutes left, maybe 40 minutes left. If you guys could help us out, knock out the rest of that gift goal, that would be greatly appreciated. That's how we survive and pay our bills. And once again, just a reminder, this week we have Monday, Tuesday. I don't know if we're going to have a show on Wednesday. If we do, it's going to be shorter. And then we have debates Wednesday evening, but that'll be it for us this week. Thursday and Friday I have off, and then I'll make it up to you next week. So if you want Jen to be happy, we can even go above and beyond that goal. But I appreciate you guys. I know times are tough for a lot of us. So if you can't, no big deal. Happy to have you here. Robert's doing an excellent job trying to fundraise for us in the comment section, pissing people off right and left. So thank you for that. Sully said, thank you for what you do. You, Jen, and the mods are incredible. Love you guys. Fuck MAGA, fuck Trump, and fuck Michigan. Go UConn. Roll damn Huskies. The Fighting Jim Calhouns. I'm on board with you. I'm all about the Huskies. That was my very first favorite college basketball team. It was that team with like Khalid El-Amin, Rip Hamilton, Jake Voshkel. That's my favorite college basketball team of all time. Khalid El-Amin's my favorite college basketball player of all time. Wasn't me said there are only two people I watch every day, start to finish, Jay and Hassan. Hassan is hugely misunderstood. He's a pacifist and a humanitarian. Just saying. Appreciate that. I don't have time necessarily to watch other shows. Like I haven't seen anything terrible from Hassan. I've seen some good stuff from Hassan. It's been no secret that like one of the biggest influences on my political change was Vosh. Back when Vosh used to debate, I don't necessarily like watch their streams, but I used to always watch Vosh's debate. And I started watching him as a conservative, or I guess as a libertarian. And that's why, if you're familiar with how I used to debate and how I labeled myself, I would often say I was like a libertarian socialist, which is very similar to how, I mean, I stole that from Vosh. I stole that idea from him, but I think Vosh is brilliant. So I don't really have a problem with these people. I don't know a great deal, but if we need to condemn something, I know for sure there's at least one thing that Hassan, I have a problem with that he said. I've also seen him apologize profusely, and that was saying that the United States deserved 9/11. I think that was a dumb thing that he said. And if I would have said it, I would have probably felt pretty fucking bad about that. And hopefully he does.
It's like this one.
America deserved 9/11, dude.
Oh, there it is.
I'm saying it. We totally put it on ourselves, dude. Holy shit.
The ultra-Orthodox Jews leaving Israel, hilarious. Okay? If they serve in the
Okay, first one, not anti-Semitic. Is this anti-Semitic, saying that, what did he say? Ultra-Orthodox will leave Israel if forced into the army? I don't think it's anti-Semitic to say that it's hilarious that they'll leave if they're forced into the army.
military, and then they get their untrained, inbred asses shipped into southern Lebanon. Again.
Okay, inbreeding. I don't know enough about that. Is that anti-Semitic? I don't know enough about who he's referencing here, so maybe. Becky said, fuck Robert. Denise said, choo-choo, thank you.
Again, very funny.
You know, it's Hassan Piker calling Orthodox Jews inbred. Piker has also posted comments such as these, where he unequivocally sides with Hamas.
Okay, yeah, if he's saying that about all of them, that's probably anti-Semitic.
Calling them the lesser of two Israels compared to the lesser of two evils compared to the government of Israel. Piker has since apologized for his comments on 9/11, but he stood by the rest.
That's a good point, Josie. We do say that about Southerners all the time. But that, if somebody said I was anti-redneck, I think that would be a fair criticism of me.
He's accusing others of taking him out of context. In a Wall Street Journal op-ed, the leaders of the Democratic think tank Third Way write, quote, Mr. Piker is anti-American, anti-women, anti-Western, and anti-Semitic. No Democrat.
Our president had dinner with Kanye West and Nick Fuentes and never apologized for that, by the way. So whatever we want to say here. Both of those things, I would say, that was anti-Semitic, and what he said about 9/11 was wrong. Is that enough? Do we need an 8-minute hit piece? Those were years ago, right? Like, I know the 9/11 thing was a while ago. I don't know when the other part was, but like, we need an 8-minute hit piece on CNN here?
Should engage with him. All should seek to push him to the fringe where he belongs, unquote. Hassan Piker just recently become an issue in Michigan. It's home to a competitive three-way Democratic primary for governor. Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed, one of the three candidates and a former CNN commentator, announced that Piker will join him for 2 rallies in April. His opponents quickly seized on that, slamming the decision as unacceptable, calling Piker...
I don't know if that is or not. Somebody, who was it? Just Monita said being called inbred is not an anti-Semitic trope as far as I know. I don't know either. That's why I said if it is, yeah, sure.
Not somebody that you should be campaigning with at a moment when there's clearly a lot of pain and trauma across our state. Ardoni O'Sullivan caught up with Piker over the weekend at a No Kings rally in New York and asked how he fits into the Democratic Party's future.
Robert, I've seen the thing about his dog. I don't know if I don't know. There's some gray area there. Sean, thank you for the Antifa dues. Burned Out Medic, thanks for the gift gold. Jamar said still waiting on those dick pics. I'll just say this with Hassan, like we're never gonna know if he shocked his dog or not. He said he didn't. Everybody else thinks he did. I also know that there are collars like that that vibrate rather than a shock. I think that is a shock collar. I think people have different views on that. I'm surprised, Robert, that Robert, you'll cheerlead a genocide, but you have a problem with a dog being shocked. That's a little bizarre to me. I don't remember you talking much about Kristi Noem assassinating her dog for not following orders. I don't think that you actually care about that.
You have become an issue within the Democratic Party yourself. Tell us about that.
I don't think I'm necessarily an issue within the Democratic Party as much as I am an issue for a lot of consultants. I don't want fascism to win in this country. I don't want Republicans to win in this country. We can argue on the methods. Maybe you think that my worldview and my values and the policies that I want politicians to represent might be different than yours. But at the end of the day...
Hassan has been openly racist towards black people. Maybe I haven't seen it. You can send me clips.
Yeah, I think we have the same goals.
I should note, I misspoke. It's a Michigan Senate primary, not governor primary. Jonah Platt is with us. He's the host of Being Jewish with Jonah Platt podcast. Peter Hamby is the founding partner of Puck News. And Peter, look, obviously he has said a lot of things that a lot of people find outrageous, and he called one Jew a Zionist pig dog. He has called Hamas the Palestinian resistance. He has justified October 7th and on and on and on. What does his influence tell you about where the Democratic Party stands today? And I guess, is it despite those comments or because...
Does Amir have a problem with what he just said there? Is there anything he said there that is so problematic that we're hosting this panel about him?
Because of those comments.
I think it's despite those comments a little bit. I mean, back to your first question, what it says about the party. I think Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed is looking for a lane in a three-way primary. He is slightly behind in the polling. And like a lot of Democrats and a lot of progressives, after the 2024 election, wants to connect with young people, connect with young men, go into the manosphere, go into the podcast space.
Sorry, last thing on the dog thing. Robert, like I've seen the video with his dog. You don't even have the video correct. It's hard for me to take your opinion seriously. It's entirely possible that he shocked the dog. It's also possible that the dog just yelped. I don't know. But you're saying that, like, your story's wrong. His dog was up. His dog was moving, and then it yelped. So you saying that he shocked his dog when his dog moved isn't the case. The dog was going to the bed. So you don't even have the one story right, and you're still talking about it. So let's let that one go.
It so happens that Hassan Piker is aligned with a lot of Dr. Abdul Al-Sayed's views on healthcare, on taxing the rich and billionaires, etc. He is a Bernie, AOC, Zoran guy. But with that, he has a long reputation of saying all of the things you just played here. I was just talking to you before the segment. I mean, I think it is a risk for Abdul Al-Sayed to have him come into the state. It's an obvious risk, but he is grasping for votes in a crowded three-way primary in a state, Michigan, which you remember from 2024, both in the primary, the Democratic primary and the general election, has a lot of Arab and Muslim voters outside of Detroit, in Dearborn Heights, and Democrats have been suffering there, and I think he's trying to grab onto them. He's doing rallies at Michigan State, so he's trying to go after young people. But one thing I do want to point out, Jake, that you said in the intro, that he's not a household name, the Speaking with American Men project, which was launched to study young men by Democrats after 2024, polled Hassan Piker's name among young men. He's not well known at all. About half of young people don't know who he is. And then...
Wait. 50% of young people know who he is and he's not well known? That's pretty... He's in politics, dude. He works in politics. He's an online political streamer. 50%, that's massive. What is he talking about? That's a huge number. Half? Good Lord. If you polled those same people, what my percentage would, and obviously nowhere near that. If I got 1%, I'd be like, oh shit, I made it. Half? That's a lot.
His favorable rating, he's -9%. He's underwater with faves. Only 20% of young men have a favorable opinion of Hassan Piker. And that's sort of why I say...
Yeah, well, young men have problems in this country. We have a young man problem a little bit in this country. We have a manosphere problem in this country. I'm not surprised they don't like Hassan.
Is it worth the gamble to do this?
Interesting. And Joni, in that Wall Street Journal op-ed that I talked about, the think tank Third Way, they wrote, "We're all for a big tent, but the Democratic Party needs to draw a line in the sand. Hassan Piker and his fellow Jew haters belong on the other side." Donny O'Sullivan asked Piker to respond to critics who call him anti-Semitic. He quoted a few things that Piker had said, especially a Zionist dog or Zionist pig, or I think the actual quote was Zionist pig dog, whatever that means. Here is Piker's response.
I've spent my entire professional media career and far beyond that combating anti-Semitism. I've been doxxed, swatted by neo-Nazis for my consistent advocacy against anti-Semitism. I just also happen to be an avowed anti-Zionist. I believe Zionism is a very racist ideology. It's an ethno-religious...
Imagine being upset that somebody calls Zionists awful names, but like you're cool calling Nazis awful names. What's the difference? It's literally like the same ideology, different target. That's it. Zionists, they're the same. What's the fucking difference here? It is not, just like it's not anti-German to call Nazis pieces of shit. It's not anti-Semitic to call Zionists pieces of shit. It's a separate ideology. That's why it's Zionist and not Jewish, right? If it wasn't a separate ideology, why the name? Why the disconnect? Why the fracture between Jewish people of whether or not they are or are not Zionists? It is an entirely different ideology. It's fascist. Are you guys going to start standing up for the Nazis? Well, some of you are going to stand up for the Nazis. I shouldn't ask that question. Well, they're misunderstood. They had some good ideas. It was really just the gas chambers I had a problem with.
Religious supremacist ideology, and it's the underpinning ideology that has caused the genocide of Palestinians in the hands of Israel and also the United States of America.
Jonah, there's a lot to unpack there. What's your response?
Yeah, I mean, what Piker does
Josie.
that a lot of people of his ilk do is they try to inoculate themselves against claims of Jew hatred by pointing it out in places.
By explaining in clear and concise terms that he's not anti-Semitic, but that he has a problem with Zionists. He's trying to inoculate himself from these claims by clearly explaining that he has no problem with Jewish people, but instead with the ideology of Zionism. And that's not fair because we want to use his anti-Zionism as a smear and call him anti-Semitic so that we can continue our Zionist genocide. It's not fair that he tries to separate those two. Who the fuck is this guy? Jonah Platt? Who the fuck is Jonah Platt? He hosts Being Jewish with Jonah Platt. I'm going to guess that he's Jewish, just based on that title. Fuck, that was a pretty good explanation Hassan gave.
That aren't them. He's been very clear pointing things out on the right. Oh, that's anti-Semitism. These are the tropes they use. And then he'll use the exact same tropes and just sub-Jew for Israel.
Can we get an example, though? Can we just get an example here? They keep saying this stuff. Are they going to give us an example at some point? Or is it just going to be the 9/11 thing, which wasn't anti-Semitic, and then when he called ultra-Orthodox Jewish people fleeing to not join the military inbred? Which, again, I don't even know if that's an anti-Semitic trope. You probably shouldn't say it. I've said it about Southerners, so I probably deserve some criticism there.
Which is the place where all Jews collectively have a connection to, and is the homeland where more than 50% of Jews on planet Earth live. So it's not, he would never say Jews control the media, but Israel controls the media.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. It's just like saying Americans don't invade other countries. Who does? Our government. Right? The president, the leader, they invade. Not us. We didn't bomb that school. The president directed that. Yeah, that's how this works, dude. This is literally how it works in every country. Like, it's not fair that we don't get to play by entirely different rules than everybody else. How come we can't play by entirely different rules where if you criticize our government, you must hate all Jewish people? This is unfair.
And, you know, the Jews didn't pull us into the war with Iran and control the American government, but Israel does.
Correct.
And so he's able to sort of get away with some of this stuff in these subtle ways when really his impact is just...
Oh, no, not nuance. This motherfucker. God damn you, Hassan, and your nuance. God, I didn't think I was going to... When I started the show this morning, I was like, I did not plan on, I'm going to do a whole fucking segment on defending Hassan Piker. It makes me more mad. These are the worst arguments. Again, I don't even know. Maybe he said more fucked up stuff I don't know about, but these are terrible arguments.
Just as harmful as any out-and-out anti-Semite. Just he's got a different name and he comes from a different wing of politics.
It's interesting. Politico asked a bunch of Democratic politicians running for president or who might run for president if they would ever do his podcast. And the only two Jews thinking about possibly running for president, Rahm Emanuel and Josh Shapiro, both suggested that they might be willing to.
Oh, they must be anti-Semitic too. The only two Jewish candidates are the most anti-Semitic. Got it. I mean, obviously, I don't know if Ro Khanna's going to run, but Ro Khanna did his podcast.
I think this gets to something important with this.
Didn't Bernie did his podcast? You sat down with Bernie Sanders, noted anti-Semite Bernie Sanders.
This debate in Michigan, it's different to go onto his podcast and joust over ideas. I think seeing Josh Shapiro and Hassan Piker on his Twitch stream would be fascinating. I think Josh Shapiro is smart and they would have a spirited debate, as they say.
I think Josh Shapiro would walk out of there and go, I think I was wrong. He's not anti-Semitic. I don't think it would be what they think it is. Like, what are you going to spar over? Josh Shapiro's like, do you hate Jews? No, I just don't like. I don't like the Israeli government. Oh, I like Jewish people. I don't like Zionists. Oh, then what are you going to fight about then at that point? Thank you for sending on behalf of Robert Burned Out Medic. Wasn't me said I respect you and Hassan both. I hope one day you get time to hear just a couple of his streams for context. Fingers crossed. I mean, probably won't ever have time to watch a whole stream, but I've seen enough. Like the only reason I create distance between me and Hassan is like my view of Hassan is because I just haven't seen that much. But I honestly, outside of these two things, I really haven't seen anything with him that I disagree. I loved his interview with Bernie Sanders. I listened to that whole thing. He had a really cool segment one time of like talking to an Uber driver. That was awesome. Jennifer said, go sports, fuck Donald Trump, and fuck off, Robert.
Politics. The difference is going out to campaign with somebody, and the candidate, it's implicitly endorsing his views or suggesting, why don't you come to Michigan and campaign with me? That's the difference. I think candidates should be able to go on to podcasts with people who disagree with them. But yeah, I mean, the politics of Israel heading into 2028.
I wonder why they didn't bring Hassan on here.
Are going to be fascinating. You're already seeing tons of Democrats kind of come out against AIPAC. Right. But also defending Israel. Gavin Newsom obviously had to walk back, calling Israel an apartheid state. The other thing that...
Are you mocking? Kanye is an actual 100% real Nazi, but Hassan has nuance. Yeah, dude, he wrote a song, HH. I don't know if I can say it on TikTok. He has said that he is that. Like, I'm sorry, we're taking Kanye at his word.
It's a factor here. The more Democrats engage with influencers heading into 2028, they're going to have to confront some views, things they might have said in the past.
Quick one-sentence final thoughts on this. You worried about the direction of the Democratic Party?
I'm worried. I agree that they should be able to debate, but they have to come in clear-eyed and know that they're there to debate and push back on these bad ideas, not to get it chummy and have a fun conversation.
What were the bad ideas? Criticizing Israel? That's the bad idea?
Thanks so much for being here. Great. What a great time to be in LA to have you both in studio. Really amazing.
Thanks, Jay.
The U.S. Army.
The show after this one, did Jay, to talk about his humanitarian effort in Cuba? Okay, I didn't see that one. And this is what we're afraid of here. This is why we say this. And when people say things like the Israeli government has an outsized influence on what we're doing, like check out what San Diego's doing now.
Anti-Semitism has been rising in San Diego and across the country. That's according to Jewish organizations and hundreds of speakers at Tuesday's San Diego City Council meeting. Liat Cohen-Reese directs a local anti-Semitism task force. She says defining it is the city's first step to better fight it.
Well, we need language. In order to understand what something is, we need a definition. We need the language.
Nearly everyone who spoke agreed anti-Semitism needs to be combated. They disagreed on how to define it. The city adopted the definition of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, or IRA. It's been adopted by dozens of countries and cities across the U.S., including Los Angeles, Chula Vista, and El Cajon. It says anti-Semitism is, quote, a certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred. It includes 11 examples. 7 of them involve the state of Israel. Critics say the language has been used to silence criticism of Israel and support for Palestinians. One of those critics is Jewish council member Sean Elo Rivera. He says people must be allowed to both love Jewish people and speak freely against actions by the Israeli government.
A definition that cannot hold both of these things at once is not a tool for fighting anti-Semitism.
See, this is what I'm talking about here. This comment, Jackie said, Hassan went to Cuba and diverted power from a hospital to the hotel he was staying at. You communists are weird. No, he didn't. That's not how that works. He can't divert it. But what did he bring with him, Jackie? Tell us what he brought. Are you going to bring up the fact that he brought solar panels to Cuba to help them get power? We're not going to talk about that. He brought means for them to get power, but since he stayed at a place, which, by the way, he couldn't stay anywhere other than where the U.S. makes you. You have to stay at specific places. If you go to Cuba, the United States government forces you to stay in certain places. You have no choice. You have to go to one of the places that the U.S. government allows you to stay. But he also brought power. That's a silly, that's just such a dumb fucking argument. Yeah, of course that's your answer. Just drop the pretenses and go full hammer and sickle. Yeah, you're fucking dumb. You're just like everybody else who says communist has no fucking clue what they're talking about. If you've been here for 5 seconds, you know I'm not a communist. In fact, I'm openly not a communist. I don't like communism. I don't think communism is a way that you should run a country. I don't think it would work. I think that it's easily corruptible. I'm not a socialist. I'm not a capitalist. I think that you have to have good ideas, and I think that taking the best ideas and merging them together is what we should do. But like that's what you guys do. It's like,
I call everybody I disagree with a communist.
How many people in the hospital died? I don't know, but I don't think any of them died because Hassan Piker had power at his Airbnb or hotel where he stayed at. I doubt that any of those deaths were linked to Hassan Piker. If you'd like to give me a link and explain how you're linking these deaths to Hassan Piker, feel free. But what a dumb fucking argument. Imagine that. Somebody just like joins a flotilla, goes to Cuba, brings them medical supplies and solar panels and generators to try and help them because they're dying. And you're like, oh, well, because he had electricity there, actually, he's the bad guy. What a dumb fucking argument that is. That's how much hatred you have in your heart for Hassan that you made up the dumbest fucking argument to say that he's a bad guy. There's a lot. What are those other things you could have brought up? You could have brought up that he said we deserved 9/11. You could have brought up the inbreeding comment. You could have brought up that he shocks his dog. There's probably a bunch of shit you could have brought up, but you went with he kills people by staying at a place with power when he delivers power and medical supplies. What an argument that was. Incredible stuff.
Is a tool for silencing people who care about everyone.
He urged the council to consider other definitions, but he was outvoted 8-1. For more on this debate and to read the full definition, visit kpbs.org.
Yeah, shout out San Diego. Bobby said Trump is using this war to slow the flow of oil from the Middle East and start exporting to the very countries we have a deficit. 35 trillion with the invasion of Venezuela, maybe even Canada, free Palestine. Maybe. I gotta be honest with you, Bobby. Like, I just don't know that Trump's that smart. And I don't think that this administration is that coordinated. Every time I think they've got some sort of coordinated plan, it turns out they just didn't have a plan at all. It turns out that Trump just was like, do it. Let's do it. All right, where are we at? About 10, 20 more minutes, something like that. I want to go actually go to this real quick. This is a former BlackRock fund manager, Ed Dowd. I want to just talk about some economics real quick. We get lost in the incompetence of this administration, specifically military incompetence from the top. I'm not talking about the operators. I'm sure the operators are great. I'm sure some of these generals are great. But the incoherence and incompetence from the top clearly is putting us in harm's way consistently. But what is chronically going ignored and is something that we do in America, like always. Every time there's an economic recession or an economic collapse on the horizon, we all sit there and pretend everything's going well. This isn't going well. The disruption of the flow of oil already is going to have an impact on the economies of basically every country in the world for months on end. And every day this goes on longer, the impacts get bigger and bigger and bigger. So again, this is Ed Dowd. He is a former BlackRock fund manager. And just explaining, like, simply, if this goes on 5 months, what the economic impact will be.
In person do right now?
Well, interestingly enough, if this does go on for 3 to 5 months, there's going to be supply chain issues, and there will be a kind of and we're seeing it in Asia already. There'll be a scramble to go buy food stuff and fuel and whatnot. During COVID, I was.
Rich says, my goal is to get you on Abby Phillips' panel sitting across from Scott Jennings. Oh, it'd be a dream come true. I'll be the first person kicked off CNN for just immediately saying, Scott Jennings, you're a bitch. It wouldn't go well.
Because we're in the markets and watching everything. I knew in January that the thing that was going on in China was coming here eventually. So I panicked early and went to Costco and bought, canned food, toilet paper. I had a year's worth of stuff. I was talking to some people this weekend, and they're not aware of what's coming. And I said, look, it wouldn't be imprudent to maybe stock up and go to Costco now before everybody else figures it out and the panic comes. If it doesn't come, you got extra food.
Now that's the bird's eye view, but if we get a little deeper to that, because obviously that sounds silly. This is Patrick Bet David, who had on what is his name? It'll show here. I'm trying to remember this guy's name. It'll show here. This is when rich capitalists don't know what's going on, and Trump supporters don't know what's going on, and they don't really know how to explain what the fear should be. Now, for each and every one of us who aren't multi-millionaires like Patrick Bet David, the fear is that things will get very expensive, that we won't be able to afford food and gas. For me, like I'm entirely dependent on this audience in order to fund what I do. And so if the audience can't pay their bills, then the audience obviously can't afford to fund me. So like it's a very real scenario for a lot of us. When you're a multi-millionaire, this scenario isn't real. So Patrick Bet David, with great analysis as always here, as again, he'll say his name, I forget his name, explains like the repercussions of cutting out this many millions of barrels of oil and the economic implications for everybody.
Look at the drop in oil consumption, right? This is an implied, this is a supply side drop in oil consumption. This isn't because we're in a recession and so demand has dropped. If you look at oil consumption year over year globally, going back to 1965, global oil consumption has only been negative 3 times.
Thank you, Robert. I am nowhere as near as successful as Scott Jennings. That's true. Thank you. I'm also not a soulless mouthpiece for a political party, so I can sleep well at night.
1973 oil shock, it was down 1 to 2% going from memory. The 1980 double dip recession that we had here in the U.S., 15% interest rates, et cetera, it was down 4.3% year over year. And in COVID, when we shut down the world, it was down 9.2% year over year. Right now, the oil supply out of the Gulf, depending on what net adjustments you make for strategic petroleum reserve rundowns, et cetera, we have lost roughly 7 to 11% of the world's oil. And it's supply side. What does this mean for markets?
Remember that 9% inflation that you loved blaming Joe Biden for? That really was just like a global pandemic, but because of politics, we just said Joe Biden said a global pandemic. Think that's not going to happen again?
The world, this is going to sound hyperbolic, but it's not. It's literal math. It's guaranteed balance, double entry bookkeeping, math, supply chain reality. The world economy cannot survive a 7 to 11% loss of oil supply. It will not survive. We can debate, is Europe going to go first and collapse? Is Southeast Asia going to go first and collapse? Will America collapse?
I do think he does understand that 1980 is an intentional slowdown of the economy, which is why he said this is supply side, right? So 1980 was different, but that's why I think he said like this is supply side. This is actually like cutting off the supply. It's not intentional.
Collapse first, but the global economy is a certainty. It will collapse if we keep oil supplies down.
What's the likelihood we go there and we stay there? What's the timeline? Like if we go to 7-11%, for how long?
Well, we've been there for 6 weeks. And I think if we get to mid-April, like you're already seeing flights. I just woke up this morning, a discount airline out of London Gatwick canceled all flights, can't get fuel. So now you're going to start having tourism fall.
Do you agree with
supply chains?
That's very true. It was announced in the UK that the last shipment of kerosene was just made this week, and there's no further known shipment arriving in the UK, which is pretty crazy. But it also tells you that this is a policy outcome because nobody seems to care. There's no countermeasures. There's alternative ways. There's things you could do if you wanted to. They don't. Why? Because this feeds into this other agenda that's ongoing and that we mustn't forget. We mustn't take our eyes off that. And that is, I've just explained sort of the background with the European Union. It's actually central planners want.
Sorry, let it finish. This is so dumb.
To centrally plan more and more, and it looks like they're going to use this opportunity to impose digital controls and the types of restrictions of individual freedoms that will be at least as bad as during this COVID psyop.
Donald Trump invaded Iran, shut down the Strait of Hormuz, decimated the global oil supply, and this is a psyop from socialist central planners to gain power. That's what the PBD podcast went with. We just knew. They knew, us central planners, us socialist communists. We knew that Trump was going to do this. So actually, it's not Trump's fault at all. It's our fault. We're using this as another psyop like COVID, which we definitely apparently planned as well, to strip away the rights of humans. That's how dumb, like, whatever you want to say, Robert, about this podcast, at least I didn't say that. This at least I didn't say that. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen any fool say, ever.
Or worse. Of course, now under the excuse of, oh, there's no energy, you have to stay at home, you can't use your car.
You think that
no
kind of
travel.
stuff is possibility?
It looks like that's what they want because there were so many policy decisions.
Who is they? Who is they? Donald Trump went at this war alone. He's talking about European central planners trying to strip away the rights of Europeans now. They did this? What happens if you don't have oil? What happens if you don't have food? You have to put in rules and restrictions so that a bunch of poor people don't just starve and die while the rich people hoard everything. Like, what are they saying? Just let everybody die? Is that the alternate argument here? What we should do is just let poor people die when this happens.
Actually, ahead of this, closure of the Strait of Hormuz, that already indicated that actually they want to restrict energy usage.
This is who? This is
because they can't get oil. They don't have oil. They need to stretch that oil as far as it can go, which would mean restricting energy usage. This is how out of touch these rich conservatives are. Can you believe it? They're going to tell you how much energy you can use. Yeah, bitch. Yeah, of course they are. Maybe somebody should have done something about Trump invading Iran for no reason.
This is
European. This is the European administrators. I wouldn't say leaders because they're not really the decision makers.
Who's debating them? Who's arguing with them and disagreeing with them?
Nobody's arguing with them because it's a dictatorship. When the they can do anything. They can put some.
It is a European dictatorship that caused Donald Trump to bomb Iran without any of our allies, and now it's actually the European, the EU dictatorship that is causing this problem. No pushback from Patrick Bet-David. He's like, oh, you think?
Somebody in prison without legal course. They can sanction people without legal due cause, and that's what's happening already. That's why they're cracking down on freedom of speech. This digital services.
Where do you live
Act
today?
Conservatives, just a word of advice. Stop talking about cracking down on freedom of speech in Europe, because what they're cracking down on is like racism and sexually exploiting children. Nobody's cracking down on your ability to do other stuff. Just, you can't be hateful. The route they have gone to not blame Donald Trump for this and instead make it a psyop for the left is pathetic. Like, you should see through this. Patrick Bet-David doesn't. I don't know what his audience looks like at this point, but you're watching this and you're like, that's a good point. I don't know how we fix that. I don't know what we do about that. I don't know how that was the analysis. The Iran war is not even a Democrat hoax. The Iran war is a central planning European dictator hoax. I don't know what we do with that. Last thing, this should help. Saw this right before we went live. This should help a ton, though. Looks like help is on the way.
One of the world's largest gas facilities. It's shared with Qatar and Iran. South Pars on the Iranian side and the North Field here in Qatar. And as you mentioned, this is the second time that we're hearing of attacks near South Pars. It's not yet clear what's the detail of how big this attack is, what it has targeted, and how will it affect any supplies. It is not just one of the largest producers of gas in the world. You have to remember that Iran is the world's fourth largest consumer of LNG. South Pars is essentially the lifeline for electricity and industrial production and everything else in Iran as well. So it is of huge importance, not just to Iran, but to the entire region as well.
How do we think the people that signed the Abraham Accords are doing right now as they watch Israel and the United States bomb all of this infrastructure, drive up the cost of their energy? And we're essentially going to run out of energy in the Middle East. A lot of these countries that signed the Abraham Accords, how do you think they're feeling right now? Probably pretty good, right? America's done with weak boys like you. Thank you, Panjo. Your dad paid me $22 to pee in his mouth and call him a good boy last night. Tell him I said, what's up? He didn't call me a weak boy. He just sat there. Kept the eyes open the whole time, too. The whole time. Little got in his eye. Didn't even blink. He's like Kobe with that ball fake. Just took it, eyes open. It was unfucking believable. Your dad is a good, strong boy. He's a big, strong boy. Thanks for bringing that up. And tell him I'm happy to come by any other time. It is weird that he wants me so dehydrated. That's tricky. You really got to hold it for a long time. But apparently he likes the stronger smell. So thanks for coming here. And thanks for your dad. He's a good American patriot. And I appreciate his patronage. All right. Jen, did I miss anything? Oh, really? You're in jail right now? That's pretty good, actually. Miss anything there, Jen? Oddly specific. Yeah, that's what I said when he sent the request.
No, you didn't miss anything. I don't think. I'm glad you talked about
P?
the mouth. Yeah.
Is that going to be included in your dating profile? Are you pro or anti-P?
About peeing in the mouth? No.
No.
No,
Okay.
That's not my thing.
That's more of a first date conversation.
Maybe a third date conversation, but no.
All right.
I'm anti-P. So.
Okay. Jen doesn't. She's so anti-P. She doesn't even pee. Her body's just that efficient. Amazing. All right. What's that?
You're stupid.
I hear you. Okay. Some of you who I'm going to see in a couple hours. It's 1 o'clock my time now. At 5 Pacific Standard Time, we'll be back in the Discord. We're going to be watching. Let's make sure that it's still Don't Look Up. Let me go check that. And a reminder that if you do want to watch the movie with us tonight and you're not a paid member on either YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch, you can still sign up and then just DM Jen and she can get your account set up so you can join us to watch tonight. It looks like the winner overwhelmingly was Don't Look Up with 29 votes. We are going to be watching Don't Look Up tonight at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And if you'd like to join us, there's still time by becoming a paid member either on YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch. Other than that, you can catch our replays wherever you're watching, unless it's on TikTok. You can catch the replays on Twitch and YouTube. We have clips going up on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook all the time. Although I don't know how to log into my Facebook, so I apologize if you're commenting on Facebook and I'm not seeing it because I currently don't know how to log in. But at some point, I may or may not figure that out. Reminder: the rest of this week, our schedule is regular tomorrow. If we have a show Monday, it will likely be a shorter show. I might start it earlier. And then Monday night, we're going to have debates with Ash at Ash Me Anything on TikTok. And we will get you a time there. Look for that announcement in the Discord. And then we'll put it up on TikTok. We'll probably have an announcement tomorrow on the time actually there. So I'll get that to you guys tomorrow. We have merch in the bio if you want to help us out that way. I'm also available on Cameo. And since Ash is hosting us, Ash is also available on Cameo. And she will do and say weird shit if you send her requests. So I've seen some of the ideas. I can't see the videos because she's not allowed to share those videos. So just rest assured, if you do get a video from Ash, she won't share. But she did show me some of the ideas, and they are awesome. Draco's Rose says, are you doing anything for the holiday tomorrow? What holiday is it tomorrow? What's tomorrow? Is tomorrow a holiday? Thanks, Richard Wayne. I appreciate that. I hope you come back. Sorry about the thing about that dude being on his dad. That's my bad. It's tough first show for you. All right. Okay. I'll be back tomorrow morning, every weekday morning, 9:30 a.m. to 1 Pacific Standard Time, right here, wherever you're watching. Take care of yourselves. Go outside and touch grass. If you can't touch grass, smoke grass. If you can't smoke grass, best of luck to you. Be nice to yourselves. Be nice to your friends. Be nice to your families. Drink lots of water. And self-talk is important. So make sure that when you talk to yourself, you're doing it in a nice way. I will see you guys tomorrow morning, bright and early. Take care of yourselves. Stay cute and cool. And have a great summer.